Chapter 2870. In the sky, the 10,000 dragon picture became more and more terrifying. It was controlled by the 10 saints to avoid the Jade Lake. A terrifying light illuminated the 9 heavens. The 10,000 dragon picture seemed to have come to life as countless giant dragons circled in the sky. At this moment, not only the Jade Lake, but also the entire true spirit world. All living beings were prostrating on the ground. Heavens, what kind of aura is this? Damn it, it's too scary. Is it a saint? No, it's not a saint. A saint doesn't have this power. It's the arch. Has the arch revived? It's an extreme weapon. Heavens, is someone using an extreme weapon? Countless clans and sects were terrified. The human race had lived on this land for tens of thousands of years. Other than some forbidden lands, the rest of the land was filled with humans. Those who went to the Jade Lake were the top sections. The other families and sects didn't go. Of course, they were all watching closely. Now, they felt a terrifying pressure coming from the distant east. They were all terrified. Could it be that the battle was so terrifying that they had to use extreme weapons? This aura? So many dragons. This should be an extreme weapon of the 10,000 ancient races. Those people trembled as they looked into the distance. Where are our extreme weapons? Could it be that they weren't used? Heavens, what should we do? Without an extreme weapon, there was no way to fight against them. Even a saint couldn't, unless the arch revived. Buzz. The 10,000 dragon picture's power shook the heavens and earth. Other than all the living beings in the true spirit world trembling, the arch weapons were also alarmed. Countless people were guarding the Yi family. Suddenly, the heavens and earth trembled as a shocking light shot into the sky. The celestial emperor cauldron shone brightly. An ancient mirror in the Gu family rotated in the universe, emitting a terrifying arch aura. It was the Gu family's void mirror. The extreme weapons of the Yi and Gu families released a terrifying aura, but soon, it became silent. The 10,000 dragon picture deliberately avoided them. Similarly, the extreme weapons of the Dao-Yi Sacred Ground, Wavering Light Sacred Ground, Great Xia Dynasty, Nineli Dynasty, and Thousand Buddha Temple also quickly dimmed. Northern Plains, Demon King Palace. They were also extreme Dao Sacred Grounds and had the Demon King Pagoda. At that moment, the Demon Emperor's Tower sensed the 10,000 dragon picture's emperor's might and also released a terrifying aura. However, it quickly dimmed. However, no one knew that in the Demon King's palace, a beautiful woman dressed in white had opened her eyes. Her gaze was as bright as the stars. Her body also emitted a wisp of monarch aura. However, it appeared together with the Demon Emperor Pagoda's emperor's might, so no one sensed it. Did he use an extreme weapon? This beautiful woman was Yin Ruyu. Her body was actually emitting the emperor's might of an extreme grade weapon. It was truly shocking. Could it be that the human race was really going to lose? Yin Ruyu frowned. Nanling, Yin family. The experts of the Yin family did not enter the Jade Lake because they had already secretly colluded with the ancient royal family. In this dark turmoil, they had chosen to stand on the side of the 10,000 ancient races. Of course, they did not join the 10,000 ancient races in attacking the human race. Instead, they secretly passed on some information and provided some resources and spirit veins. At this moment, the head of the Yin family and Yin Nantian sensed the terrifying aura emitted by the 10,000 dragons picture, and their eyes flickered. Was he finally going to use an extreme weapon? It seemed that this battle was about to end. With so many sacred leaders, sect masters, and experts gathered at the Jade Lake, they would probably all die. No one would be able to withstand the might of an extreme weapon. This time, the human race was really going to be destroyed. Don't worry, the human race will not be wiped out. Our Yin family will still exist. In the future, we will be the kings of the human race. The head of the Yin family revealed a fanatical expression. Yin Nanshan's eyes also flickered. In the sky, the extreme 10,000 dragons picture emitted a brilliant light that illuminated the entire world. Below, the cultivators in the Jade Lake trembled and bowed down. Fortunately, due to the West Emperor Pagoda, their lives were not in danger. However, Lin Xian outside was not necessarily safe. Lin Xian was floating in the sky and could not return to the Jade Lake at all, so he could only face the extreme weapon alone. No, Lin Xian was really in danger. In terms of strength, he was not a match for the extreme weapon. He could not face the extreme weapon. The sect masters and the sages of the human race were extremely anxious. The 7 sages all wanted to go out. However, they were intimidated by the extreme weapon and could not move at all. "Senior, can you withstand it?" Lin Xian asked in a deep voice. His expression was incomparably solemn because the power of the extreme weapon far surpassed the combined power of the 12 sages. "Don't worry, if it's an extreme weapon in its peak state, I won't be able to withstand it. But now, it's not powered by a great emperor. It's powered by a few sages. Moreover, the West Emperor Pagoda is nearby, so it's impossible for them to fully activate it. They must have some scruples. Therefore, it's not difficult to withstand the extreme weapon. However, I'll need to consume too much of my soul. Perhaps after resisting the extreme weapon, I won't be able to use those divine powers anymore." Hearing this, Lin Xian gasped. The situation was actually so serious. However, he still had to resist the extreme weapon now. He said, "Senior, give it your all. I hope you can help save the human race. Of course, you must lock the last trace of your soul. Even if you don't use your divine powers, just your divine body and physical strength are enough. Don't worry, I know this. I will definitely hold on until the end. I can sense a few powerful auras rushing over." The 9 Sun Sword Saint Souls said, "Don't worry, the human race won't be destroyed. The human race's foundation is not something the 10,000 ancient races can imagine." Hearing this, Lin Xian was shocked. It seemed that the 9 Sun Sword Saint had sensed something. However, he did not sense it, and the 9 Sun Sword Saint did not say in detail. Could it be that other human sages were rushing over? However, what was the use of more sages rushing over? He did not know, and now, he could not think about these things. He had to quickly deal with the extreme weapon in the sky. "Senior, start." Lin Xian snorted coldly as a golden light erupted from his body. Rune precepts floated out from his body. "You still want to resist? Die for me." In the distance, more than 10 sages roared and formed hand seals. Above, the 10,000 dragons picture trembled, and a giant dragon flew out from it. It carried an extreme emperor's aura and charged towards Lin Xian. Not good. At this moment, everyone's hearts were in their throats. Could it be that Lin Xian was really going to be killed in one move? Lin Xian also took a deep breath. In the next moment, he would use the 9 Sun Sword technique. Between heaven and earth, terrifying rays of light turned into numerous sword lights that slashed towards the giant dragon. Pooh! After the sword fell, the giant dragon was cut into 2 halves and disappeared into thin air. What? He blocked it. He actually blocked the attack of an extreme weapon. How was this possible? The 10,000 ancient races were stunned. Chapter 2871. The pupils of the 10 saints constricted. The humans were also stunned. Lin Xian had actually blocked the attack of an extreme weapon. It was too unbelievable. Divine body at greater success stage. He definitely had a divine body at greater success stage. Otherwise, it would have been impossible for him to block it. The sacred leaders and sect masters exclaimed. The human saints had solemn expressions. It was just an aura just now. Although they had blocked it, they were not happy. Because the true power of the 10,000 dragons portrait was definitely not limited to this. The 10 saints' expressions were gloomy. He blocked it. This guy was too powerful. If they used it again, they had to shatter his body. They definitely could not let such a body survive in the human world. The other party's body was too terrifying, like an indestructible god of war. It made them suspect that the other party had a greater success stage, 9 young divine body. Such a divine body would be a huge threat to the 10,000 ancient races if they kept it alive. Therefore, they wanted to use the power of the 10,000 dragons portrait to completely destroy the other party's body. So what if he had a greater success stage divine body? In front of an extreme weapon, everything would be reduced to ashes. Let's do it and kill him. The saint of the 10,000 dragons nest said in a deep voice. At the same time, he told them to control their power and not activate other extreme weapons. Understood. Behind him, the other primordial saints nodded. In the next moment, they formed hand seals, and the laws on their bodies flew into the 10,000 Dragons portrait. The 10,000 Dragons portrait was completely revived. Endless dragon roars rang out, and the entire world trembled. The sky was filled with resplendent light, as if millions of stars were dancing in the sky. Roar, roar, roar. 10,000 dragons roared, shaking the entire world. At this moment, all the living beings prostrated themselves on the ground. Lin Xian also roared angrily. An extremely terrifying power erupted from his body, connecting to the 9 heavens and 10 earths. His body was incomparably resplendent, and mysterious laws surrounded him to resist the Emperor's might of the extreme weapon. How terrifying! His aura was still rising. Could it be that he hadn't used his full strength before? The human saints were extremely shocked. On the other side, the 10,000 ancient races were also terrified. The other party's aura was too terrifying. It surpassed that of ordinary saints, and it could even fight against extreme weapons. Was this the greater success stage 9 young divine body? It was indeed terrifying. The saints of the Yi family were also shocked. Their family once had a saint body at the great accomplishment level. That was enough to shock the heavens and make ghosts and deities weep. Thinking about it, a divine body at the great accomplishment level should be similar. Boom, boom. In the sky, Tao patterns filled the air. The aura of the 10,000 dragons picture hung down and pierced through the void. However, at this moment, Lin Xian was simply too strong. It was as if the 9 Sun Sword Saint had been reborn. With a stomp of his foot, the entire world trembled. The laws of the 9 heavens and 10 earths danced in the air. The aura of the myriad dragons diagram was actually unable to harm him. Beside him, the 9 young divine flames were obliterated. Within Lin Xian's body, a similar dragon roar resounded. It was the voice of the great dragon sword soul. At this moment, he was like a great emperor, and all kinds of strange scenes appeared around him. The human sect masters and the saints were shocked. In the distance, the 10,000 ancient races experts felt their scalps go numb. What's going on? Could it be that a great emperor had come back to life? Despair. This caused them to feel a sense of despair. If it weren't for the myriad dragons portrait, they wouldn't have stood a chance at all. The human race actually had such a great powerhouse. Even the 10 primordial saints who cast the spell sucked in a breath of cold air. Buzz. Lin Xian opened his eyes. His golden eyes emitted a terrifying aura. The sword chi on his body swept through the 9 heavens as if it was splitting the world apart. The world trembled as all the energy was blocked by him. A terrifying sword intent soared into the sky as if an immortal sword was about to descend. In an instant, it swept out in all directions. At this moment, all the living beings sensed it. The beasts prostrated, and the humans also trembled as they raised their heads. What happened? What a terrifying aura. Could it be that a great emperor had come back to life? Some of the older generation experts screamed. Not only Eastern Wilderness, but Middle Ground, Western Desert, and the entire true spirit world sensed it. This aura was too powerful. It was as if a great emperor had come back to life. How terrifying! Which great powerhouse had come back to life? The human cultivators were incomparably excited. The beings of the 10,000 ancient races prostrated themselves on the ground. Damn it, there was actually someone who could fight against the myriad dragons diagram. How was this possible? The expressions of the elders of the nest of 10,000 dragons, Divine Phoenix Ridge, Fire Chelan Cave, and the other ancient royal families also changed drastically. Their eyes were like rainbows that pierced through the 9 heavens. They wanted to see who it was. I am Lin Xian of the Central Emperor. I will suppress everything and quell the chaos. His majestic voice resounded throughout the world. At this moment, everyone's scalps exploded. Lin Xian, it was actually Lin Xian. Heavens, this was impossible. Wasn't he a prodigy of the younger generation? How could he fight against an extreme weapon? Damn it, there must be a shocking change. Hurry up and investigate. Exclamations sounded one after another. The human cultivators were extremely surprised. They all set up array formations, wanting to observe from afar. On the other side, the 10,000 ancient races were searching crazily. All kinds of lights flickered between heaven and earth. All eyes were focused on the jade pool. Was that golden figure really Lin Xian? Through the array formation, they saw a golden figure in the distance under the myriad dragons diagram. He stood there like a peerless god of war. Under his feet, countless living beings submitted, and above his head was a terrifying extreme weapon, the myriad dragons diagram. At this moment, the other party was fearless under the myriad dragons diagram's emperor's might. Damn it, impossible. How could that kid emit such a terrifying power? He had already surpassed a sage. The powerhouses of the 10,000 ancient races were shocked, especially the elders of the ancient royal family. Their faces were filled with shock. 9 Young Divine Body, Greater Mastery 9 Young Divine Body. Not good, we must kill him. These elders of the ancient royal family were experienced and knowledgeable. They recognized at a glance that it was the legendary 9 Young Divine Body. Moreover, it had been cultivated to an extremely terrifying level. Kid, you're too arrogant. Do you think you can fight against us? Although we can't fully activate the myriad dragons diagram, just a trace of its power is enough to kill you. The sage of the nest of 10,000 dragons snorted coldly. He controlled the myriad dragons diagram, and strands of peerless killing intent descended. Terrifying emperors might spread in all directions. The 9 heavens and 10 earths collapsed at this moment. Today, I want to see just how powerful the legendary extreme Dao weapon is. Lin Xian let out a long roar and stretched out his palm. It was like a giant hand that covered the sky as it grabbed forward. He was going to take the imperial weapon with his bare hands. Boom! The golden palm collided with the myriad dragons diagram, and the aura that hung down let out a shocking sound. At this moment, the terrifying existences that were sleeping in the 10,000 ancient races were all awakened. They opened their eyes, and their auras erupted. Wisps of divine red pierced through heaven and earth. They wanted to see this battle clearly. Damn it, someone could take an imperial weapon with his bare hands. They were too shocked. Chapter 2872. Boom, boom, boom. The extreme weapons of the Yi family, the Gu family, and the Jade Pool trembled again as if they were about to awaken. There was nothing he could do about it. This attack was simply too terrifying. Countless living beings bowed in the direction of the Jade Pool. At this moment, they felt their bodies stiffen and they couldn't move at all. The blood in their bodies froze, and their souls felt like they were about to explode. Dazzling light flashed. Lin Xian retreated and broke through the void. He only stopped after retreating hundreds of thousands of miles. Was he pushed back? The human sages exclaimed and hurriedly looked over. The Yi family head, Queen Mother of the West, and a few other top sacred lords also looked forward. On the other side, the primeval race sages and the top primeval kings were also paying attention. That kid should have been beaten up, right? That's for sure. He dared to fight against an extreme weapon. He must be courting death. Just wait. He will definitely destroy the divine relic. The primeval sages sneered. They were very confident in their extreme weapons, even though they had only used a little of their power. However, no one was able to resist it. But in the next moment, their eyes almost popped out. That was because the aura of the golden figure in front of them didn't weaken, and the light didn't disappear. In fact, not even a drop of blood flowed out. Damn it, he's not injured. How is this possible? The primeval sages were dumbfounded, and the primeval kings were about to faint. At this moment, the experts who were paying attention to the Jade Pool were all stunned. Someone had actually blocked an extreme weapon with his bare hands, and he wasn't injured. He really blocked the imperial weapon with his bare hands. The human sages' hearts were beating wildly. The Queen Mother of the West, Yi family head, and the others were even more shocked. Yi Wudao, Gu Santong, and the others were stunned. In myths and legends, such a situation only appeared in the records of the primeval emperors. They didn't expect Lin Xian to be able to do it. The greater mastery of the 9 Young Divine Body? Yi Wudao clenched his fists. He had to cultivate the greater mastery of the 9 Young Divine Body. Then, he might be able to block an imperial weapon with his bare hands. He had to reach the peak of the martial path. At this moment, Yi Wudao's battle intent was aroused. The other young geniuses were the same. With a flicker, Lin Xian arrived in front of Qin Nan from a few 100,000 li away. His eyes were bright, and the sword qi on his body hummed as he looked at the 10 figures in the sky. Was this the power of an imperial armament? That was all there was to it. Today, I'll take this myriad dragon's portrait with my bare hands. Lin Xian's voice resounded throughout the 8 desolates, causing the human martial artist's blood to boil. The archaic creatures, on the other hand, were all horrified. Catching a monarch weapon bare-handedly, just how bold were these words? Furthermore, he had really done it. Shouldn't the human race be exterminated? Kill him. I must kill him. On the other hand, the primeval saints were filled with killing intent. The other party was too terrifying. Although it wasn't a true resurrection of a great success divine body, it was still controlled by Lin Xian, and it had unparalleled divine might. If such a thing existed, it would be a great threat to them. They had to kill it. Once again, he increased the power of the myriad dragons diagram. The sage of the nest of 10,000 dragons roared angrily. The other sages also had cold expressions on their faces. At this moment, the power of the myriad dragons portrait erupted once again. A terrifying emperor's might filled the air, reaching the 9 heavens and 10 earths. All the living beings in the entire world submitted. Great Tao fell from the sky like a waterfall, hanging upside down in the 9 heavens. Oh no, the myriad dragon's portrait is about to erupt again. The human sages were terrified. An extreme Tao weapon was too powerful. That attack just now was just a casual attack, and it didn't activate the true power of the myriad dragon's portrait. Otherwise, the entire eastern wasteland would sink under the full-strength attack of an extreme Tao weapon. Was it that terrifying? Wouldn't Brother Xian be in danger? Morong Qingqing, Shinjingqiu, and the others were extremely nervous when they heard this. The Queen Mother of the West shook her head and said, "Don't worry, they wouldn't do that." Firstly, an extreme Tao weapon was a great emperor's weapon. No matter how powerful a sage was, he couldn't fully activate it. It was already heaven-defying to be able to unleash a portion of its power. Moreover, they didn't dare to use too many extreme Tao weapons because that kind of emperors might would trigger the other extreme Tao weapons to awaken. As long as it exceeded a certain level of power, the West Emperor Tower would awaken. At that time, the Celestial Emperor Cauldron, the Void Mirror, and other extreme Tao weapons would also awaken. As for the human race, we will completely activate our foundation. This was probably something that the 10,000 ancient races didn't want to see. Hearing this, Morong Qingqing, Shun Jingqiu, and the others heaved a sigh of relief. However, they were still extremely nervous. This was because a wisp of the myriad dragon's portrait's aura could kill a sage. It was already very heaven-defying for Lin Xian to be able to fight bare-handedly. Kill. Lin Xian held a golden battle sword in his hand and charged into the 9 heavens. He took the initiative to fight the myriad dragon's portrait. He was courting death. The 10 sages roared and activated the myriad dragon's portrait again, launching a powerful attack. In an instant, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Everything turned into chaos, and no one could see this battle clearly. However, everyone could feel an extremely terrifying energy surging between heaven and earth. It was as if it wanted to destroy the entire world. Boom, 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 boom. 18 world-ending sounds rang out in a row, and the entire world was enveloped by a resplendent light. No one could open their eyes. Those sages wanted to forcefully watch the battle, but in the next moment, they screamed in pain. Their eyes bled, and they rolled on the ground in pain. It was too terrifying. Even the sages couldn't watch it. An extreme-grade weapon is powerful, but it's not something ants like you can use. If you want to kill me, revive your ancient emperor. Lin Xian's voice sounded in the world. At the same time, an angry roar sounded. Damn it, I'm going to kill you. You've gone too far. These were the voices of the ancient sages. Although the crowd couldn't see the battle situation, just hearing the voices was enough to scare them out of their wits. What's going on? Could it be that Lin Xian has the upper hand? Heavens, the 10 sages are actually unable to do anything to him? This is too unbelievable. Roar. Boom. Another earth-shattering sound erupted, followed by countless screams. The sky was blood-red, and a rain of blood fell from the sky. A saint had been blown apart. Screams rang out one after another, causing one's scalp to go numb. After a few screams, the light in the sky quickly retreated like the tide. How's the battle going? Seeing that the light was no longer so resplendent, all the sages looked in the direction of the jade pool again. In the next moment, they were scared out of their wits. These sages were extremely terrifying existences in the world, but at this moment, they were dumbfounded and stunned. In the void, the 10,000 dragons diagram emitted a resplendent light, and a golden figure stood between heaven and earth. The auras of the two collided, tearing countless cracks. Meanwhile, the sages of the ancient sages were in a miserable state. Blood stained the void, and their bodies were shattered. Although they weren't killed, they were in an extremely sorry state. Defeated, the 10,000 ancient races were actually defeated. The 10 sages had used extreme weapons to fight Lin Xian, but they had been defeated. Chapter 2873. This was too unbelievable. This was probably a major event that would shock the entire world. Everyone was horrified. The 10,000 ancient races shrieked in disbelief. The humans were extremely excited. Great Lin Xian actually caught an apex weapon with his bare hands. This kid was too heaven-defying. Cheers sounded one after another, and hope was restored in their eyes. An apex weapon? It was indeed powerful. However, you can't hurt me with just your strength. Lin Xian's voice was sonorous. Hurry up and get lost, or I'll slaughter your entire ancient army. Lin Xian's body emitted a biting cold killing intent that surged forward. This caused countless archaic creatures to tremble in fear. Even the archaic kings were filled with despair. Under the other party's power, they had no ability to resist at all. The ancient sages were so angry that they vomited blood. Their bodies reassembled, but their expressions were incomparably ugly. To be honest, their minds were still blank because they couldn't accept that someone could catch an apex weapon with his bare hands. What kind of magnificent feat was this? Perhaps only the ancient emperors could do it. However, how heaven-defying was such a person? It could be said that one wouldn't appear for tens of thousands of years. Could it be that this kid really had the might of an ancient emperor? Dear heavens, if the other party was allowed to continue growing, the 10,000 ancient races would really be finished if another emperor lord was born. Why were they still not convinced? Lin Xian snorted coldly, and a 9-sun sword flew out, instantly splitting one of the sages of the nest of 10,000 dragons apart. That sage screamed and retreated in fear. The other sages also trembled and contacted the 10,000 dragons diagram for protection. Damn it, kill him. We must kill him. We must activate the 10,000 dragons diagram at all costs and launch a shocking attack. Even if we have to sink the entire eastern wilderness, we must kill him. The sages of the nest of 10,000 dragons roared. The other party was actually suppressing them so powerfully. This was intolerable. The other sage's eyes were also bloodshot. Come on, I'm not afraid of you. If you have the ability, then sublimate to the extreme. Let's fight to the death. Lin Xian took a step forward, and the aura on his body erupted. He was like an ancient great emperor, suppressing the 8 desolates, causing the 10,000 ancient races to tremble. If he used the 10,000 dragons diagram at full power, he might not be able to withstand it. However, he was not afraid because he knew that there were several extreme weapons in the eastern wilderness. As long as the other party wanted to sink the eastern wasteland regardless of the cost, the few extreme weapons of the human race would be revived. At that time, the human race would be able to activate their foundation. Don't act rashly. The saints of Divine Phoenix Ridge and Fire Chelan Cave also tried to persuade him. The saints of the nest of 10,000 dragons gritted their teeth. He said, "Why don't you take out your Divine Phoenix Ridge's Extreme Dao weapon, as well as your Fire Chelan Cave's Extreme Dao weapon? With the 3 Extreme Dao Monarch weapons attacking, I don't believe that we can't kill him." Upon hearing this, the human experts were extremely shocked. Were they going to use 3 extreme weapons? Perhaps no one would be able to resist it. No, The Western Yellow Pagoda would probably automatically awaken once the two extreme-grade weapons appeared. The Saint of the Divine Phoenix Ridge still shook his head. They had too many concerns. Damn it, the humans in the past were just like that. They could easily crush them to death. But now? They wanted to attack the humans, but they actually had so many concerns. They didn't even dare to go all out. Thinking about it, they felt really aggrieved. Lin Xian sneered. Why? You don't dare to make a move? If that's the case, take your people and scram. Scram back to your nest. If you dare to take another step into the human city, I will directly kill you. Lin Xian was incomparably domineering. He didn't back down at all. He was now the guardian of the human race. He had to use a strong stance to repel the 10,000 ancient races in order to ensure the safety of the human race. Buzz. Kid, you're too arrogant. On the Jade Lake side, the 10 primordial saints didn't say anything. However, a cold and dignified voice sounded from extremely far away. Immediately after, the sky was torn apart and the great Tao descended. A figure soared into the sky. A terrifying aura suppressed the surroundings. A saint. Another saint had awakened. Sensing the extremely powerful saint aura and laws in the sky, everyone exclaimed. Needless to say, this was a saint of the 10,000 ancient races. Whoosh whoosh. After the first saint, a few more figures soared into the sky and quickly flew towards the Jade Lake. Soon, 7 or 8 figures descended. Each of their auras was powerful. They were even more terrifying than the primordial saints from before. The human cultivators in the Jade Lake were terrified. Lin Xian also frowned. The situation wasn't good. It seemed that the 10,000 ancient races were using their trump cards again. Indeed, Lin Xian discovered that the 8 figures that came this time were very strange. Their bodies still existed in the deity crystals. In other words, these 8 saints hadn't come out of the deity crystals. However, the auras on their bodies were incomparably terrifying. Their gazes were extremely cold. They were like divine swords that emitted such terrifying power without coming out. Once they came out, they would definitely be able to sweep through everything. Needless to say, these people were extremely terrifying existences. In the saint realm, they were extremely terrifying. As expected, facing the 8 saints in the deity crystals, the 10 primordial saints quickly bowed. Seeing this scene, everyone was even more terrified. These 8 were definitely extremely terrifying patriarchs. Kid, do you really think you can contend against the primordial race? Today, we'll let you know the true power of an extreme weapon. The 8 patriarchs snorted coldly. Their auras also erupted. This time, the 10,000 dragons picture spun once again. A terrifying emperor's aura filled the entire world. Not good. The human cultivators had originally seen hope, but now they were in despair. The 10,000 ancient races' trump cards were simply too powerful. Lin Xian also frowned. Just now, he had used too much of the 9 Sun Sword Saint's soul to receive the Emperor's weapon with his bare hands. Now, the 9 Sun Sword Saint's soul was extremely weak. Would he be able to withstand this attack? He didn't know, but no matter what, he had to resist. What, do you think the human race doesn't have anyone? Just as Lin Xian was about to fight to the death, a voice also came from the distant sky. The sky flickered with golden light, quickly covering the entire sky. The 10,000 dragons' picture vibrated, and a terrifying dragon aura surged. It turned into a huge dragon that danced, fighting against the golden light. In an instant, the two sides were evenly matched. What was going on? Was this kid playing tricks? They stared at Lin Xian, but Lin Xian also had a look of surprise. What a terrifying aura. Could it be that the human race's extreme weapon had awakened? The primordial saints and the 8 primordial patriarchs all had ugly expressions. If that was really the case, then things would be terrible. The Jade Lake Sacred Ground, the Queen Mother of the West, the Yi family patriarch, and the other saints were also puzzled. What a terrifying aura. It wasn't weaker than an extreme weapon. Which extreme-grade weapon had awakened? Chapter 2874. The Celestial Emperor Cauldron? The Void Mirror? Or the Dragon Winding Cauldron? But that wasn't it. They sensed that it wasn't an extreme weapon they were familiar with. Could it be that there was an unknown extreme weapon in the world? In an instant, everyone exclaimed. The human race had regained hope. Lin Xian also turned his head to look into the distance because he heard the 9 Sun Sword Saints say, "It's here. It's finally here." What was it? Lin Xian didn't know. Could it be that the foundation of the human race had appeared? He remembered that the 9 Sun Sword Saint had said that the foundation of the human race was beyond the imagination of the 10,000 ancient races. Perhaps that unknown foundation had appeared. Golden light covered the sky. The 9 heavens and 10 earths also urged the aura of the great emperor to resist the 10,000 dragon diagram. From within the golden light, a figure descended. When he saw this figure, Lin Xian's eyes widened in disbelief. The cultivators of the human race were also puzzled. Who was this person? Did this old man look unfamiliar? They had never seen him before. However, Li Xuanxian and the others cried out in alarm. "Greetings, old palace master." What? Could it be that he was the previous palace master of a mortal palace? Heavens, the palace master of a mortal palace was actually a saint? They cried out in alarm. Lin Xian was also shocked. That's right, the old man who had come was none other than Xia Juyo. "Who are you?" The archaic saint of the Fire Qilin cave shouted coldly. "Xia Juyo," the old man said indifferently. "Humph, never heard of him." The archaic saints snorted coldly. The sacred leaders and sect masters were also puzzled. However, the expressions of the 7 saints of the human race changed. They thought of a person and instantly sucked in a breath of cold air. No way, it couldn't really be him, right? It was very likely that other than him, who else had such means to block the 10,000 dragon diagram? The saints quickly conversed, and the sacred leaders felt their scalps go numb. Could it be that this old man had a great background? Xia Juyo said in a deep voice, 10,000 ancient races, you've gone too far. Could it be that you want to start another dark turmoil? I advise you to leave quickly and not cause trouble. Xia Juyo's voice wasn't loud, but there was an unquestionable warning in his tone. Leave quickly? Just you? You can also say such things to me. The saint from the Fire Qilin cave sneered. He struck out with his palm, which turned into a huge Qilin hand and grabbed downwards. He wanted to slap Xia Juyo to death. Upon seeing this scene, everyone became nervous. However, Lin Xian's gaze remained calm. He knew that Xia Juyo was a saint. They should be able to deal with the current situation. As expected, Xia Juyo sighed. Boom! The Qilin's huge hand exploded in midair, and saint blood splattered everywhere. The saint of the Fire Qilin cave was incomparably miserable as his entire arm turned into nothingness. What? The saints of the 10,000 ancient races were stunned. The humans also felt their scalps go numb. Even Lin Xian was stunned. He knew that Xia Juyo was powerful, but he did not expect him to be so strong. To be able to injure a primordial saint with a single sigh, this method was too heaven-defying. Why do I feel that he isn't any weaker than a large success 9 young divine body? Everyone was shocked. At this moment, the gazes of all the experts in the true spirit world gathered on Xia Juyo, wanting to see through him. Damn it! How dare you injure me? The saint of the Fire Qilin cave was furious. The flames on his body surged into the sky as he wanted to attack again. However, he was stopped by a primordial saint. The primordial saint's body was hidden in a divine crystal, but his eyes pierced through the void and stared at Xia Juyo. Who are you? I've said it before, I'm Xia Juyo. I advise you to quickly retreat and not cause any trouble. Otherwise, you won't be able to bear the consequences. Humph. Do you think you can resist the entire 10,000 ancient races by yourself? You overestimate yourself. Our primordial royal race has revived to rule this land. You humans should move aside. The primordial saint was very powerful. They were even stronger than the primordial saints. Attack. In the next moment, they roared and activated the 10,000 dragons diagram together. The 10,000 dragons diagram rumbled and transformed into 10,000 dragons that rushed in all directions, causing everyone to be terrified. Not good. Could it be that they were going to use an apocalyptic attack? If that was the case, the eastern wilderness would fall and all of them would be destroyed. No one would be able to survive. Xia Jiuyo was still fearless in the face of such a scene. Xiao Qun waved his hand, and golden light filled the sky. It quickly wrapped around the 10,000 dragons picture, forming a painting. Immediately, the light of the 10,000 dragons diagram was blocked. Damn it! He actually resisted the 10,000 dragons diagram. How was this possible? The 8 primordial saints and the 10 primordial saints were terrified. What was that thing? Laws appeared in their eyes and pierced through the void. In the next moment, an ancestor screamed. The investiture of the gods. It's actually the investiture of the gods. Where did you get this thing? What investiture of the gods? The primordial beasts and human cultivators were confused, but the human saints' expressions changed drastically, especially the western desert monks. Their eyelids twitched. Could it really be that thing? They were shocked. Xia Jiuyo said indifferently, I got it from the Spirit Mountain. Do you still want to attack? The Spirit Mountain was indeed there. The 10,000 Buddha temple's monks were shocked and chanted Ba. The others were puzzled. Master, what was that thing? Yes. Was the investiture of the gods very powerful? The 10,000 Buddha temple's monks said in a deep voice. The investiture of the gods was a treasure personally refined by the arch. It was used to seal powerful enemies. What? This was a treasure refined by the arch. Wasn't that an extreme-grade weapon? Everyone was shocked. No wonder it could resist the 10,000 dragons diagram. Was it Donghua the arch? The saints were shocked. The 10,000 Buddha temple's monks nodded. Yes, it was Donghua the arch. Donghua the arch had refined the investiture of the gods and sealed a peerless enemy in the Spirit Mountain. After countless years, that powerful enemy had probably turned into ashes. However, the investiture of the gods had been passed down. However, that wasn't the arch weapon. No one could touch it. They didn't expect that Xia Jiuyo would use it to resist the 10,000 dragons diagram. This Xia Jiuyo was really terrifying. His strength definitely far surpassed that of a saint. Yes, he could actually use the investiture of the gods. This strength was heaven-defying. Donghua the arch. The human cultivators discussed animatedly. There weren't many legends about this the arch, and they didn't know much about him. They knew about Celestial Emperor Yi, the Void Emperor, and the others. However, the Yi family's saint said that Donghua the arch was very terrifying. His might shook the world, and he cared about the common people. When the Yi family's Celestial Emperor was young, he received the teachings of Donghua the arch. That was why he could become a Celestial Emperor. When these words came out, everyone gasped. What? Celestial Emperor Yi received the inheritance of Donghua the arch? This was too unbelievable. One had to know that Celestial Emperor Yi was an extremely terrifying existence. He swept through the 9 heavens and 10 lands, and it was rumored that he had already ascended to immortality. Such a brilliant figure was actually a disciple of Donghua the Great. One could only imagine how terrifying Donghua the Great was. The investiture of the gods he left behind was definitely incomparably useful. Chapter 2875. Damn it, he actually blocked it. The primordial sages gritted their teeth. The 8 ancestral patriarchs sneered. Do you think we can't do anything just because you blocked the 10,000 dragons portrait? Do you think you can fight against so many of us by yourself? They exuded a cold aura. Attack. Kill them. Kill all the human powerhouses in the Jade Pool. I want to destroy the human race. Hearing this, Lin Xian's expression changed drastically. He hurriedly said, Old Xia, do it. Although the other party had 8 ancestral patriarchs, with his and Xia Jiuyo's strength and the 7 saints, they should be able to fight against them. No hurry? Seeing Xia Jiuyo's smile, Lin Xian was stunned. Could it be that someone else is coming? Indeed. Not long after, another voice sounded between heaven and earth, riding a sword and riding the wind. I shall eliminate the demons between heaven and earth. All demons submit to me, the wine sword immortal. His voice sounded extremely carefree and at ease. Everyone was extremely shocked. It was likely that another exceptional expert had descended. On the human side, the saints were stunned. Lin Xian also widened his eyes. Could it be? He trembled with excitement, and his eyes shone with a cold light. In the Jade Pool, The Crimson Dragon also muttered softly, "No way. Is that guy here? Damn it, if it's really him, I have to make him return my dragon essence." The Crimson Dragon's eyes were also red. He thought of someone. Lin Xian soared into the sky. "Lord Wine, is that you?" Whoosh! A sword light streaked across the void, and an immortal sword bloomed. On the immortal sword, a man in a long robe was half lying in the void. He was holding a wine gourd in his hand, and his eyes were a little drunk. "Little guy, well done." The man shook the wine gourd and said with a smile. His long hair fluttered in the wind, and there was stubble on his face. He looked very sloppy. However, his eyes were like stars. Everyone knew that this was a super powerhouse. However, what shocked everyone even more was that this super powerhouse was actually related to Lin Xian. Heavens, this Lin Xian is really... They were shocked beyond belief. Xia Jiuyo, who had just come out, was Immortal Palace's old palace master, while Lin Xian was the current palace master. There was no need to talk about their relationship. The newly appeared Wine Sword Immortal seemed to have a heaven-defying strength. Furthermore, he was actually related to Lin Xian. Just who was this Lin Xian? All of a sudden, they began to speculate about Lin Xian's identity. Lin Xian ignored their thoughts. At that moment, he only had eyes for Lord Alcohol. He was extremely excited. "Is it really you, Lord Alcohol? That's great. I thought I would never see you again. How could that be?" Lord Alcohol laughed out loud. "I've said it before. When you grow up, we'll fight side by side." As he spoke, he tossed the gourd over. "Have a taste. This is my newly brewed spirit wine." Lin Xian took it and took 3 big gulps. Then, he said, "Awesome. Lord Alcohol, let's fight side by side." 10,000 rays of light bloomed from his body. Although he could no longer use the power of laws after resisting the supreme weapon, the power of his greater success divine body was enough to suppress everything. On the other side, the primordial saints and ancestral ancestors had gloomy expressions. The other party had sent 2 super powerhouses in the blink of an eye. This was truly beyond their expectations. However, one of the ancestral ancestors of the nest of 10,000 dragons sneered. "It's just 2 powerhouses. How can they contend against us?" The 8 of them were powerful, and they didn't believe that the other party would be able to contend against them. Who said that there were only 2 of them? Lord Alcohol drank and smiled. "Don't worry, I'll use your blood to brew a pot of good wine later." His eyes lit up. Courting death. The primordial saints and ancestral ancestors were furious. The other party actually wanted to use their blood? They were overestimating themselves. What wishful thinking. At the same time, they were shocked. Could it be that more human powerhouses had arrived? Why were there so many human powerhouses? One had to know that the saints of the supreme Tao sacred lands were suppressed by the myriad dragon portrait. Could it be that those saints had also awakened? Ancestral ancestors, what should we do? The saints asked. Investiture of the gods. The ancestral ancestors of the nest of 10,000 dragons gritted their teeth. If not for the investiture of the gods, they could have used the myriad king's portrait to directly kill the other party. But now, their 10,000 dragons portrait was sealed. Damn it, let's see what they're capable of. An ancestral ancestor walked out. This was the ancestral ancestor of the Southern Sea crocodile gods. He was extremely terrifying. He transformed into a huge divine crocodile that was tens of thousands of miles long. He blotted out the sky and the sun as he pressed down. His laws could directly obliterate a saint. It was too terrifying. The cultivators of the Jade Lake were terrified. These ancestral ancestors were simply too terrifying. The ancestral ancestor of the Southern Sea crocodile gods charged towards Lord Alcohol in the sky. Die. Terrifying might surged outwards, forming a divine spear that pierced forward. His attack could kill a saint. Facing such a terrifying attack, Lord Alcohol was still lying lazily on the flying sword. He glanced indifferently and then waved his finger. Buzz. Circles of black runes flew out from his hand and flickered in the sky. Then, they suddenly expanded and turned into a black hole that spread forward like an abyssal beast that was devouring everything. With a boom, the terrifying divine ability was devoured. Not only that, but the southern sea crocodile gods also screamed in horror. Damn it, get lost. He realized that the black hole had also enveloped him. A mere spatial power was not worth a single attack. The southern sea crocodile god's ancestral ancestor sneered. His huge body swayed and crushed the void. However, he was unable to escape the black Tao patterns. The Tao patterns that filled the sky completely enveloped him. Devour. Lord Alcohol muttered as countless black Tao patterns flickered. The southern sea crocodile god screamed in horror. Damn it, my power. How dare you absorb my power? He screamed crazily as he tried to break free. However, he could not break free at all. This scene shocked everyone. Who was the other party? He was too terrifying to be able to subdue an ancestral ancestor so easily. Boom. The void in the sky split open as a divine light tore through the 9 heavens. The ancestral ancestor charged out, but his face was pale and his body was trembling in anger. In that instant, a lot of his power had been sucked away. The devouring sword. Damn it, you have the devouring sword. The southern sea crocodile god screamed in horror. The others were also shocked. What? The devouring sword of the 5 swords of the world? Damn it, damn it. The primordial saints and ancestral ancestors' expressions changed. The devouring sword was one of the 5 swords of the world. It was as famous as the dragon sword soul. Its power was absolutely unimaginable. It could devour everything in the world. No one expected that not long after the dragon sword soul appeared, another peerless divine sword, the devouring sword, would appear. It was too terrifying. No one knew if the other 3 legendary divine swords would appear. Chapter 2876. The legends of the 5 swords of the world had been around for tens of thousands of years. Who would have thought that the chaos caused by the 10,000 ancient races would cause the great dragon sword and the devouring sword to appear together? Don't act rashly. The ancestor of the nest of 10,000 dragons said in a deep voice. The ancestor of the southern sea crocodile god race snorted and retreated with a gloomy expression. He didn't expect the other party to have the devouring sword. It wasn't good for him to attack again. However, if he had the chance, he would definitely kill the other party. He had been careless just now. He wasn't afraid of the other party. So what if it was the devouring sword? He would use his divine power to destroy the other party's body. Let's use the second extreme weapon. The ancestor of the nest of 10,000 dragons said in a deep voice. All right. The ancestor of the divine phoenix ridge nodded. It seemed that this was the only way. There was no other way. The current situation had exceeded their expectations. The 10,000 dragons portrait had been blocked, and the other party had 2 super experts. In addition, Lin Xian had given them a headache. If they didn't use the extreme weapon now, they would probably have to retreat. Retreat? How could they be willing to do that? They had planned for so long and used all their strength to kill the humans. If they retreated now, wouldn't they be mocked? Furthermore, 8 ancestors had come this time. As long as they controlled it carefully, they shouldn't alarm the other extreme weapons. Since they had already decided, the female saint of the divine phoenix ridge let out a long roar. A phoenix phantom rushed out from her body and covered the 9 heavens. Instantly, the entire world began to shake. A rumbling sound came from the divine phoenix ridge in the distance. A ray of light streaked across the 9 heavens and flew towards the jade pool with an invincible radiance. Wherever it passed, the void turned into nothingness. The countless living beings below prostrated themselves and trembled. Some even cracked and turned into a bloody mist. An extreme weapon. This was an extreme Thearch's aura. Another extreme-grade weapon had been born. Everyone in the world was shocked. The 10,000 ancient races trembled with excitement. On the other hand, the humans were filled with despair. The Queen Mother, the Yi family head, the 7 sages, Lin Xian, and the others also had solemn expressions. Xia Zheyo's eyes flickered. Lord Alcohol still looked indifferent. The extreme weapon tore through the void and instantly arrived above the jade pool. Terrifying Thearch's aura covered the area. The 10,000 dragons picture vibrated, and the investiture of the gods kept rolling. However, it still managed to restrain the 10,000 dragons diagram. This made everyone heave a sigh of relief. Fortunately, they could still restrain the 10,000 dragons diagram. Otherwise, they would be facing two extreme weapons. Most likely, no one would be able to contend against him. Now that there was an extra one, if Lin Xian was still as strong as before, he might be able to take on the monarch weapon with his bare hands. Moreover, there were two super strong cultivators. There was still a sliver of hope for the human race. However, the primeval saints snorted coldly. In the sky, endless rays of light turned into a phoenix divine spirit, and thousands of rays of light fell from it. Each of them transformed into a terrifying great Tao that interweaved in the sky. Phoenix Bell, an extreme weapon of the divine Phoenix Ridge. At this moment, being activated by the old ancestor of divine Phoenix Ridge, it emitted a clear and melodious sound. Wong. The 100,000 mountain peaks suddenly exploded, and millions of lands instantly sank, turning into darkness. It was too terrifying. Just a trace of the might of an extreme weapon was enough to shatter mountains and rivers. Nothing could withstand it. In the Jade Lake sacred ground, the sect masters and saints trembled. Facing the extreme weapon, they were once again suppressed to the point that they couldn't breathe. They couldn't resist at all. Outside, Lin Xian snorted coldly. His body bloomed with light, and golden divine chains surrounded him. He used his powerful physique to resist the Emperor's might. An endless black hole appeared beside Lord Alcohol, quickly devouring this terrifying energy. Xia Juyo stood there without moving. His eyes seemed to have turned into two universes, and an extremely terrifying power surged from his body. Phoenix Bell. If it was activated by an emperor, we really wouldn't be able to resist it. But now, you can't do anything to me. Today, I'll take it with my bare hands. Xia Juyo stood out. Although his face was old, at this moment, he was like a mountain that stood tall in the void. You want to take on an emperor weapon with your bare hands? What a joke. Die for me. The old ancestor of divine Phoenix Ridge laughed sinisterly and struck out with a shocking attack. The Phoenix Bell spun in the sky, carrying millions of great Daos as it charged over. A wisp of light turned into the phantom of a phoenix, covering the sky and covering the earth as it charged at Xia Juyo. The sky was filled with divine flames. The phoenix was born from the flames and could burn everything. Xia Juyo shouted coldly. His robes fluttered, and he reached out with both hands. Two stars quickly formed in his palms. In the end, they enlarged and turned into two universes of starry sky. Boom, boom. The two palms carried the universe of starry sky and collided with the phoenix that was reborn from the flames. Rumbling sounds could be heard as the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Large black cracks danced wildly in the sky, and all the void collapsed as if the world had been reversed. Monstrous flames spread in all directions, and darkness appeared in the sky. The stars that filled the sky seemed to have been replaced. All kinds of strange scenes appeared. It was incomparably terrifying, and all the primordial kings, sacred leaders, and sect masters felt a chill in their hearts. This method was too heaven-defying. After the attack, the dark starry sky disappeared, and the terrifying phoenix flames also disappeared. The sky regained its clarity once again. Xia Juyo stood there and retracted his palms. He was unharmed. The 10,000 ancient races were stunned. On the side of the human race, they also exclaimed. He had taken on an emperor weapon with his bare hands. Heavens, another person had taken on an emperor weapon with his bare hands. Moreover, the power of the emperor weapon this time was even more terrifying. It was too terrifying. He was definitely a super sage. Why didn't they know that the human race had such a powerhouse before? Moreover, he was a living sage. He wasn't sealed in a god crystal. Everyone cried out in alarm. They saw hope once again. The primordial saints' faces were gloomy, and the primordial ancestors of the divine Phoenix Ridge had a ferocious expression. Damn it, he blocked it. The other party really blocked his attack. How was this possible? Damn it, who was the other party? The patriarch of the nest of 10,000 dragons roared. Don't fight him head-on. He's probably an old monster who has lived for countless years. His strength is heaven-defying. Let's hurry up and use the Phoenix Bell and the 10,000 Dragons diagram to send the investiture of the gods flying. Then, we'll gather the 2 Emperor weapons and kill them. They definitely won't be able to resist. All right. The 8 patriarchs and 10 primordial saints moved together. Clang. The Phoenix Bell emitted an incomparably resplendent light. Phoenix phantoms moved about in the sky, and together with the 10,000 Dragons diagram, they quickly bombarded the investiture of the gods. The investiture of the gods lowered countless great daos to seal everything, but no matter how powerful it was, it couldn't withstand the attacks of 2 Emperor weapons. In an instant, the investiture of the gods trembled as if it was about to fall from the sky. Not good, it's dangerous. The Queen Mother and the others were terrified. If the investiture of the gods fell, the power of the 2 Emperor weapons would be enough to destroy them in an instant. West Emperor Tower, hurry up and revive. The Queen Mother and the other powerhouses of the Jade Lake Sacred Ground communicated with the West Emperor Tower. However, they couldn't revive it in a short period of time. This made them even more anxious and uneasy. On the other hand, the primordial royals were extremely excited. This is great. 2 extreme-grade weapons. The human race is dead for sure. That's right. How can these ants fight against us? Chapter 2877. With a boom, the investiture of the gods was finally pushed back. The 10,000 Dragons diagram flickered again, and 10,000 dragons soared into the sky. They tore through the void, forming a terrifying crack. At this moment, all the human cultivators in the quintessential world knelt on the ground, their faces filled with despair. They had broken free. The 2 archweapons were going to work together to kill them. In the sky, the 10,000 Dragons diagram released its extreme arch aura, and the Phoenix Bell kept spinning. The 2 were going to work together to kill Lin Xian, Xia Jiuyo, and Lord Alcohol. Lin Xian roared and used his greater success divine body, preparing to fight to the death. At this moment, a loud explosion came from the eastern wilderness. Immediately after, a golden pillar of light shot into the sky and kept spreading. The terrifying arch aura appeared again, suppressing the 9 heavens. At this moment, all the 10,000 ancient races trembled, their scalps going numb. Apex weapon. Another apex weapon had been born. Damn it, it was the human race's extreme weapon. They felt like their bodies were about to explode from the pressure. This was definitely not an extreme weapon of the 10,000 ancient races. The pressure on the human race's side instantly decreased. At the same time, they were shocked. Another arch weapon had appeared. Yi Wudao, the Yi family patriarch, and the Yi family sage exclaimed. The celestial emperor cauldron. It was the heaven and earth cauldron. Had the Yi family's celestial emperor cauldron awakened? The other sages, the Queen Mother, the Gu family patriarch, and the other sect masters also widened their eyes. How could the celestial emperor cauldron awaken? One had to know that the West Emperor Tower had yet to awaken. How could the celestial emperor cauldron awaken? Could it be that the seal of the 10,000 Dragons diagram had been broken? Impossible. How could the celestial emperor cauldron awaken? On the 10,000 ancient races side, the primordial saints and primordial ancestors also screamed. It was as if they had seen a ghost. Although they had used 2 extreme weapons, they were still careful not to alarm any of them. Not to mention the celestial emperor cauldron, even the West Emperor Tower, which was so close to them, had not awakened. Not to mention the celestial emperor cauldron even further away. Damn it, what had happened? Could it be that the Yi family's cultivators had forcefully awakened the celestial emperor cauldron? But how did they do it? For a moment, all the primordial ancestors were stunned. Xia Jiuyo and Lord Alcohol revealed smiles. Lin Xian was extremely alarmed. From the looks of it, Xia Jiuyo and Lord Alcohol weren't the only ones attacking the humans. The cauldron of the celestial emperor flew out from the Yi family and floated above the 9 heavens, emanating the aura of the Great Path. Below the heaven and earth peak, a figure walked over quickly, making him look like a god. What's going on? Someone had really activated the celestial arch cauldron. Who was it? Was it the saint of the Yi clan? The elites of the 10,000 ancient races stared at the figure. Below, the Yi family cultivators and the other Holy Lands cultivators all turned their heads and looked over. That was especially true of the saint of the Yi clan, Leaf Daodinier, and Yang Qi. They didn't know who that person was. Whoosh! The Celestial Emperor's cauldron arrived near the Jade Pool in an instant. It intersected with the investiture of the gods, resisting the myriad dragon's portrait and the phoenix bell. What's wrong? Are you bullying us humans because we don't have imperial weapons? The person's voice was ice-cold. This was an imposing figure with a head full of white hair. It was very eye-catching. However, although this person had white hair, he didn't look old. His face was as sharp as a knife, and he looked to be in his 30s. Of course, they wouldn't be fooled by appearances. This should be an expert who had lived for countless years. The other party's aura was too terrifying and strange. It was completely different from the golden path above. It was pitch black like ink, like a demonic cloud that shrouded his surroundings. This scene was too strange. A demonic figure controlling the radiant and holy celestial emperor's cauldron was unbelievable. Not to mention them, even the patriarch of the Yi clan, Yi Wudao, and the other Yi clan experts were stunned. Who was this person? He wasn't a saint of the Yi clan at all. How could he control the Yi clan's celestial emperor's cauldron? Could it be that the other party had forcefully seized the Yi clan's celestial emperor's cauldron? But how is that possible? The celestial emperor's cauldron was an extreme weapon. Who could seize it? Apart from the Yi clan's experts, no one could use it. Thus, in an instant, the experts of the Yi family were all stunned. When the experts and saints of the other sacred grounds and sects learned about this, they were also stunned. They couldn't understand what was going on at all. Lin Xian was also very surprised. No matter how he looked at it, this person didn't look like an expert of the Yi clan. The Yi clan's cultivation technique was very obvious and special. It was golden. After all, the Yi clan had the bloodline of the Arch. Although they only had a sacred body, the cultivation techniques of others were the same. They were all the Arch cultivation techniques. However, the person in front of him was completely different. His entire body was pitch black like ink. This was simply a demonic cultivation technique. Moreover, looking at the other party's demonic aura, Lin Xian suspected that the great demon of Blackwood Cliff had been resurrected. Damn it, could this be someone from the demon race? For a moment, Lin Xian suspected that the demon race had seized the extreme Dao weapon and was here to kill the human race. However, from the other party's tone and appearance, it seemed that he was on the side of the human race. Therefore, for a moment, he was stunned. The corners of Xia Jiuyo and Lord Alcohol's lips curled up. You're finally here. Who are you? In front, the patriarchs of Fire Qilin Cave shouted coldly. Their faces were incomparably gloomy. Damn it, why was the human race so strange? Every time at the critical moment, a powerhouse would jump out, and the other party would bring an extreme Dao weapon. They were also incomparably familiar with this extreme Dao weapon. The Celestial Emperor Cauldron was an extremely terrifying extreme Dao weapon left behind by Celestial Emperor Yi. I am the Demon Master. You primordial ants actually dare to threaten the human race. Why aren't you kneeling down and accepting your death? The Demon Master was even more arrogant, not putting these 10,000 ancient races in his eyes at all. Even when facing the primordial saints and primordial ancestors, he still suppressed them in an extremely domineering manner. Ants? We're ants? Those primordial kings were all stunned. The primordial powerhouses and saints were so angry that they vomited blood. Damn it! Damn it! The other party actually didn't put them in his eyes? Courting death, those saints and patriarchs erupted with extremely terrifying power. The arch weapons above their heads flickered with incomparable light. However, the new demon master was still not afraid. He also snorted coldly. With a wave of his palm, endless demonic chi formed a huge black hand that directly grabbed the Celestial Emperor Cauldron and smashed it forward. Under this attack, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. As if it was going to destroy the world, endless cracks appeared, causing the primordial saints and patriarchs' expressions to change. Damn it! Block it! They crazily activated the arch weapons, forming countless great Tao laws that enveloped them and the primordial army below. Otherwise, this attack would have been more than enough to reduce everyone to ashes. After this attack, the mountains and rivers shattered, and blood flowed like a river. Another batch of the primordial army was killed. Even the great Tao laid down by the two extreme Tao weapons were shattered. Chapter 2878. The primordial saints and primordial ancestors also felt their blood boil. A few of them were even injured. Their faces were abnormally gloomy. Damn it. Was the other party crazy? He actually used an extreme weapon like this. Could it be that he really wanted to destroy this world? The people on Jade Lake's side also vomited large mouthfuls of blood. Their faces were filled with fear. Damn it. Was he here to save the human race or to destroy the world? Their bodies trembled. The person in front of them was too powerful. He was both good and evil. Although he came for the human race, his methods were abnormally arrogant. It was as if he didn't have any scruples. Even if they destroyed this world, he wouldn't care. Such a method not only terrified the human race, but also the 10,000 ancient races, because such a person had no scruples. If they really fought, the 10,000 ancient races would probably suffer great losses. Damn it! Hurry up and stop the investiture of the gods. The celestial Emperor Cauldron definitely couldn't let them use their extreme weapons again. The patriarch of the nest of 10,000 dragons roared. The patriarch of the Fire Chelan cave also shouted coldly. If it really didn't work, they would use their extreme weapons. They also planned to use their third extreme weapon. There was no rush. Let's seal their extreme weapons first. We'll fight them. They have fewer people, so we don't believe that they can resist us. The 8 primordial ancestors quickly conversed. Indeed, the other party had a terrifying figure, but they had a lot of saints on their side. If they attacked together, they didn't believe that the other party could resist. Damn it, they were too shameless. Below, the Crimson Dragon and the others gritted their teeth. The white-haired demon lord snorted coldly. Attack? You're courting death. You ants aren't enough to fight in front of me. He was too arrogant. The primordial ancestors were so angry that they vomited blood crazily. The white-haired demon lord shouted coldly, "With my demon blood, I'll kill my way up to the 9 heavens. Whoever wants to attack, feel free to do so. Do you think we'll fight you one-on-one?" The 8 patriarchs walked up, and the 10 primordial saints did the same. A terrifying power surged out, completely enveloping Xia Luyu and the others. Lin Xian snorted coldly, and the light around his body overflowed into the sky. Lord Zhu used the devouring sword and circled around him. Xia Juyo was like a god of the universe. And this kind of demon lord was even more terrifying. Demonic chi filled the sky as if it wanted to overturn the entire world. Who dares to stand with me? Right at this moment, another biting cold voice sounded from the sky. Then, a figure descended, trampling all over the place. My saber can't wait any longer and wants to drink the saint's blood. A maniacal laughter rang out as a blue figure turned into a saber light, splitting the void. It had appeared. The human experts had appeared again. Below, the human warriors exclaimed. In this short period of time, there were too many surprises for them. First, the white-haired demon lord appeared and used the celestial Arch Cauldron. Then, 2 more terrifying figures appeared. Not only that, but they were also very powerful. A third powerful figure had also arrived. As soon as she appeared, countless forests appeared in the sky. With a wave of her hand, the injured people in the fairy lake were instantly healed. Heavens, how miraculous! My injuries have actually recovered. Who was this person? She was a life-type saint. The others cried out in alarm as they felt an abundance of power. Lin Xian felt that the power in his body had also recovered. In fact, even the soul of the 9 Suns' divine body had become slightly stronger. This made him happy, but he couldn't care less about it now. His eyes were fixed on the figures in front of him. One of them had descended powerfully, trampling all over the place. "Father, is that you?" Lin Xian shouted. He realized that he was too familiar with this figure. It was his father, Lin Zhan. What? When this voice sounded, everyone was stunned. The The humans and the 10,000 ancient races were all stunned. Father? Among these figures, Lin Xian's father was actually among them. It can't be. Lin Xian actually has such a great background. His father was an incomparably terrifying saint. The experts of the human race were all stunned. The people from the 10,000 ancient races were even more terrified. This brat was too strange. He was powerful, and he knew Xia Juyo, Lord Alcohol, and this new expert. A total of 6 figures had appeared, and 3 of them were related to this kid. Damn it, this kid's future achievements were probably limitless. They had to think of a way to get rid of him. These primordial saints looked at Lin Xian with murderous eyes. The imposing figure turned his head and looked at Lin Xian with a smile. Xianer, you've really grown up. You can stand on your own now. Father. Lin Xian walked up excitedly, his eyes red. Lin Zhan smiled. Now wasn't the time to talk. After defeating the 10,000 ancient races, let's have a good drink. All right. Lin Xian clenched his fists. Let's join forces and defeat these 10,000 ancient races. She was extremely excited. She didn't expect to see not only Lord Alcohol here, but also her father. At the same time, she was extremely surprised. Her father and Lord Alcohol seemed to know each other, and their relationship wasn't ordinary. What was going on? Her father was just an ordinary cultivator previously. Although he was powerful, that was only in the Tianwu domain. But now, he had actually become an indomitable and powerful saint. And it seemed that he had been carrying out a secret mission with Lord Alcohol and the others. Lin Xian felt that his father and the others seemed to be preparing a shocking plan, but he didn't know what it was. Perhaps this plan would affect the safety of the human race. Of course, now wasn't the time to ask. Lin Zhan turned his head and looked at the 8 barons. His loud voice sounded. I'm Lin Zhan. Who dares to stand against me? You overestimate yourselves. Do you really think you can go against us? Without an apex weapon, the human race is nothing. On the opposite side, a figure walked up from among the 8 patriarchs. It was the patriarch of the Silver Clan. The Silver Clan was extremely powerful. They were from the primordial royal race, and they were known as the uncrowned kings. It was said that the Silver Clan was known as the strongest royal race below the royal race. So at this moment, when their patriarch walked out, the human race held their breaths. He was too powerful. This was definitely an earth-shattering figure. Yes, their bloodline power was said to be terrifying. Would that Lin Zhan be able to withstand it? Now, the 4 apex weapons from both sides were facing each other. They didn't use them. Instead, these saints were prepared to fight personally. Lin Zhan looked at the other party and snorted. The Silver Clan? Fine. Let me see if your title of uncrowned king is as powerful as the legends say. Lin Zhan strode out. You will see it for yourself. However, the price you will pay is your life. The Silver Clan's patriarch also walked out. This patriarch's body emitted a silver light. His entire body seemed to be made of silver, and he exuded a heavy aura. His physique was strong to an unparalleled extent. To be honest, my target isn't you. It's your kid. He has the 9 Yang divine body. It's rumored that the 9 Yang divine body has unparalleled strength and a strong physique. I really want to fight with him. But don't worry, after killing you and your son, I will let you and your son reunite in the netherworld. The Silver Clan's patriarch's cold voice sounded. In the next moment, runes appeared under his feet. Silver-white Dao runes also appeared on his body. Terrifying divine chains of order danced in the air. Accompanied by his fist, he punched forward. So powerful. The 7 human race saints from the Jade Lake sacred ground had already flown up to assist Xia Juyo, the demon ancestor, and the others. But at this moment, when they felt this punch, their expressions changed, and they retreated frantically. They didn't dare to take it head-on. They had no choice. Before the punch arrived, just the aura brought by the nomological laws had already caused their bodies to crack. This punch would definitely be able to kill them instantly. In the field, the demon ancestor, Xia Juyo, Lord Alcohol, and the others also moved and flew into the sky. They watched the battle silently and weren't very nervous. Lin Xian was a little nervous. Although he knew that his father was very powerful, the other party was even more terrifying than the Silver Clan. especially now that the one who attacked was the Silver Clan's patriarch. He was indeed sweating in his heart. Terrifying silver laws danced as if gods and demons had appeared between heaven and earth. Ka ka ka. The silver ancestor's body continued to grow. Not only that, silver arms appeared on his back. It was extremely terrifying. There were at least 1,000 of them. The 1,000 silver arms danced in the air like demons. Terrifying saintly aura filled the sky. Kill. With a furious roar, 1,000 arms burst forth at the same time, bringing along divine chains of laws that filled the sky, suppressing forward. What kind of method was this? It was too terrifying. The experts on the human side were terrified. The primordial king of the Bain clan laughed sinisterly. 1,000 hands of silver, our ancestor is angry. Humans, just wait for your death. I'll let you know our strength. This was the ultimate technique of the Bain clan. With 1,000 hands, it could kill the primordial ancestors of the other clans. It could be said to be extremely powerful. They didn't believe that the middle-aged man on the other side could block it. Fine. I'll let you see my true strength. Lin Zhan also took a step forward. Light erupted from his body, spewing out a domineering aura. At this moment, he was as strong as an ancient overlord. He was extremely powerful. Tyrant fist of the heavens. With a punch, he suppressed heaven and earth and destroyed all the laws in the world. He wanted to destroy the entire world. What a terrifying aura. The bodies of the primordial saints trembled, and deep fear appeared in their eyes. They felt that just this aura alone was enough to crush them. Damn it, who exactly was the other party? Tyrant Fist of the Heavens was an extremely terrifying fist technique. It had an incomparable domineering aura and was very difficult to cultivate. This person could actually cultivate it to such an extent. Damn it, he was definitely a super strong expert. They were extremely terrified. As expected, once the Tyrant Fist of the Heavens was unleashed, it had an incomparable domineering aura that swept out in all directions. It engaged in a great battle with the 1,000 silver hands. The two of them exchanged blows, causing the world to collapse. They fought from here all the way to the outer realm. With a loud bang, the void above the 9 heavens split open. A huge crack was like a divine sword that split the entire world into two. At the next moment, silver blood splattered everywhere. The 1,000 silver barks exploded. The patriarch of the Bain clan also fell from the outer realm. He was extremely miserable. He roared angrily, and his body reassembled. However, it was once again shattered by Lin Zhan's punch. What? The patriarch of the Bain clan was actually defeated. How was this possible? Wasn't the other party too powerful? Who exactly was the other party? How could Lin Xian's father be so terrifying? Could it be that the other party was also a mysterious expert from a terrifying clan? They were all stunned. Lin Zhan landed. His clothes fluttered, and his domineering aura remained. I've said it before. You're not my match. Step back, I'll attack. Another patriarch walked out. His figure was like a demon king, and his body carried a terrifying aura. The pair of golden wings behind his back covered the sky. He was from the Heavenly Rock clan. This was an extremely ferocious clan among the ancient royal clans, the Heavenly Rock clan. It was said that this clan had once challenged the dragon race and even succeeded in slaying a dragon. They could be said to be extremely powerful. Among the 10,000 ancient races, they weren't any weaker than the Bain clan. At this moment, the Heavenly Rock clan's patriarch walked out. I'll fight you. He could tell that Lin Zhan was very powerful, but he wasn't afraid. The Heavenly Rock clan was extremely powerful. They could definitely kill Lin Zhan. Lin Zhan's eyes glinted coldly. Bring it on. Do you think I'm afraid of you? However, before he attacked, the white-haired demon lord floated out. Leave this battle to me. All right then. Seeing the white-haired demon lord, Lin Zhan nodded and stepped back. He stood with his hands behind his back. A mere heavenly rock. I'll give you a chance to live. Kneel at my feet and become my slave. I can spare your life. The white-haired demon lord was even more domineering and arrogant. He didn't care about the Heavenly Rock clan's patriarch at all. You're courting death. The Heavenly Rock Clan's patriarch was enraged. He roared angrily. His black hair fluttered wildly, and his golden wings covered the sky. They transformed into two heavenly blades that slashed over with the great Tao. You want to attack me? You're overestimating yourself. The demon lord's white hair fluttered. He was like a demon god as he walked forward. He punched out. Demonic aura surged from his body. His fist transformed into 6 black holes that seemed to want to devour everything. These 6 black holes were too terrifying. They were different from Lord Alcohol's devouring sword. They were like 6 worlds. They carried an extremely mysterious aura as they quickly charged over. Chapter 2880. What kind of fist technique was this? It was so terrifying. The 10,000 ancient races and the ancient ancestors were shocked. It was as if they were about to be annihilated by the 6 worlds. The expression of the Tian Pong race's ancestor also changed. He didn't expect the other party's fist technique to be so profound. However, it was already too late for him to retreat. He could only wave his 2 golden wings crazily, transforming them into 2 heavenly blades that carried the great Tao as they descended. He wanted to shatter the other party's fist with one strike. With a boom, the heavens collapsed and the earth cracked. 6 black holes shrouded the golden wings. In the sky, the laws collided and the great Tao interweaved, forming a scene of destruction. Boom, boom, boom. The 6 black worlds spun rapidly, forming a terrifying force that tore apart the golden wings. Blood dyed the sky red as the golden wings were split in half. The Tian Peng race's saint was sent flying, spitting out large mouthfuls of blood. His face was filled with shock. Damn it! How is this possible? How is it impossible? Die! The white-haired demon lord's figure flickered as he waved his fist again, bringing along the 6 worlds as he charged over. Damn it! The Tian Peng's extreme speed. The pupils of the Tian Peng race's ancestor constricted. The other party's fist technique was too powerful. Even the golden wings that he was so proud of were cut off. Even if it hit him, it would most likely shatter him into pieces. Moreover, he didn't expect the other party to be so powerful. After succeeding in one strike, he continued to chase after him. The Tian Peng's movement technique was extremely fast. Even the saints couldn't see him clearly. They could only see a blurry light. However, the demon lord sneered. The 6 black worlds instantly expanded, enveloping the entire world. No matter how fast you are, can you escape my reincarnation? Kill. The 6 black worlds continued to expand, forming 6 skies that covered the entire world. It was as if their true spirit world was connected to 6 incomparably mysterious worlds. This scene was extremely terrifying. Damn it! As expected, the Tian Peng race's ancestor couldn't escape from the 6 worlds at all. In the next moment, he was torn apart by the 6 mysterious forces, and his body was torn apart. The Tian Peng race's ancestor screamed crazily as his body reformed in the distance. However, he was soon shattered again. One world after another descended, beating the Tian Peng race's ancestor until he screamed again and again. Damn it! This is impossible. The ancient sages were terrified, and the 10,000 ancient races screamed. The immemorial king of the Sky Rock race knelt on the ground, his eyes bleeding. They were about to go crazy. Their ancestor had been defeated so miserably and was even about to be killed. They couldn't believe it. The humans were also stunned. They were too powerful. These new human experts were each more powerful than the last. Previously, Lin Zhan's tyrant firmament fist had already shocked them, indomitable and domineering. But now, they realized that this white-haired demon lord was even more terrifying. When he punched out, it was as if he had created 6 real worlds. Even the Sky Rock's ancestor, who was so powerful, had been killed several times. If not for the saint's blood rebirth, Patriarch Tian Peng would have been killed long ago. Even so, they were still terrified. What kind of fist technique was this? This was too terrifying. Leaf Daodinier and the clan leader of the Yi clan looked on in shock. The saint of the Yi clan let out a shriek. 6 Das reincarnation fist. This is my Yi clan's peerless fist technique. How did he know it? What? 6 Paths of Reincarnation Fist. This is the 6th Daos Reincarnation Fist? The other sacred leaders and sect leaders were also stunned. They didn't dare to believe it. The 6th Daos Reincarnation Fist was extremely terrifying. It was a secret technique of the Yi clan that wasn't passed down to outsiders. It was a top divine ability. Leaf Daodinier had cultivated this technique before and could use it against someone in the same level as him. Not many people could contend against it. And now, the white-haired demon lord actually knew how to use the Yi clan's divine fist. What was going on? Damn it! What was his relationship with the Yi clan? Previously, the other party could directly use the Celestial Emperor Cauldron. Now, he even used the Yi clan's 6th Daos Reincarnation Fist. He couldn't be from the Yi clan, right? When these words came out, everyone was shocked and their scalps went numb. Could it be that this was really the case? They looked at the Yi clan. The clan leader of the Yi clan and Leaf Daodinier were confused. The saint of the Yi clan was indeed shocked. Was it really him? Could it really be him? Ancestor, what was going on? The clan leader of the Yi clan asked in a deep voice. Although he was the clan leader, he had only been in power for 1,000 years. He didn't know about things that happened a long time ago. This saint was different. He obviously knew more. Leaf Daodinier was even more shocked. Looking at the expression of their ancestor, could it be that this white-haired demon lord was really from the Yi clan? Heavens, how could someone from the Yi clan become a demon? Perhaps it really was that person, but it was impossible. It was rumored that he had already fallen. How could he appear again? The Yi clan's saint's expression was incomparably solemn. This made everyone even more curious. What was the identity of this white-haired demon lord? What was his relationship with the Yi clan? However, this was no longer important. That was because a loud sound had attracted everyone's attention. In the sky, 6 world of reincarnation mercilessly crushed, killing the heavenly rock ancestor 6 times. The heavenly rock ancestor went crazy. A golden halberd rushed out of his body and swept in all directions. Only then did he escape. This halberd was an unparalleled sacred weapon. At this moment, the heavenly rock ancestor used it to kill his way out. After coming out, his body trembled. His face was filled with fear, shock, anger, and humiliation. He had his body shattered 6 times. This was something he had never experienced before. He felt that it was a great humiliation. However, he didn't dare to make another move because the other party was too terrifying. Those 6 black holes were like real worlds. He couldn't shatter them at all. If he attacked again, he was afraid that he would shatter even more. He might even be killed by the other party. What heavenly rock? It was nothing more than this. Obediently become my mount. The demon lord was very domineering. He strode over as if he was about to attack again. You're courting death. The heavenly rock ancestor was furious. Although the other party was powerful, the other party kept saying that he wanted to take him as a flying mount. How could he endure this? In the next moment, he waved the golden halberd in his hand and directly slashed out. This golden halberd was extremely terrifying. It was left behind by an extremely terrifying saint of the heavenly rock clan. At this moment, a golden light shot into the clouds, cutting the entire sky open. Clang. However, it was sent flying by the white-haired demon lord's 6-path reincarnation fist. Damn it! Everyone attacked together and killed them. The heavenly rock ancestor roared crazily. He wasn't a match for the other party in a one-on-one battle, but they had more people on their side. As expected, in the next moment, the other primordial saints and ancient ancestors couldn't help but attack. Do you think I'm afraid of you? The demon lord let out a long roar. Terrifying demonic energy covered the 9 heavens, forming 3,000 demonic shadows in the sky. I'm the demon lord. I'll laugh at the world. A terrifying voice resounded. The 3,000 demonic shadows accompanied the demon lord's 6-path reincarnation fist and charged out together. If you want to fight, I'll accompany you to the end. Lin Zhan also took a step forward and executed the tyrant fist of the heavens. On the other side, Xia Juyo had sublimated to the extreme. The aura on his body was biting cold as he struck out 2 universes. Lin Xian didn't use any laws, but the power of a greater success divine body was incomparable. He directly entered close combat and killed his way into the primordial saints, sweeping in all directions. In the end, the Saber Saint's long saber was unparalleled. The elf girl struck out laws that filled the sky, helping the human saints recover. She controlled a world and provided a powerful vitality. In an instant, the holy war erupted. It was extremely terrifying. Let's go to the outer realm. The primordial saints roared angrily. The demon lord's black hair fluttered. A black dragon roared beneath his feet, bringing him directly into the sky. These saint-level experts had all fought their way to the outer realm. A great battle erupted, and heaven and earth erupted. Below, the experts of the 10,000 ancient races and the human race trembled. They looked up at the sky. The sky was flickering, and large cracks would erupt from time to time. It was obvious that an extremely terrifying and tragic battle had erupted in the outer realm. Chapter 2881. It's too scary. Will we be able to withstand it? The human race will definitely be able to withstand it. Damn it. Ancestor, do your best. Kill them all. The 10,000 Archean races and human race martial artists were extremely nervous. Suddenly, a fire erupted in the distance. It was as if millions of fire cheelants were rushing through the sky, tearing through the void and charging toward Jade Lake. Not good. The cheelant spear. Damn it. It's an extreme weapon. The human martial artists on Jade Lake side-screamed in fear. Their faces were pale as they fell to the ground. Even the sacred leaders and sect masters' bodies were torn apart. The Empress of the West and the others narrowed their eyes. Not good. Those sages are in danger. They realized that after the cheelant spear appeared, it didn't attack Jade Lake, the investiture of the gods, or the celestial Archcauldron. Instead, it charged toward the outer realm. If one of those primeval sages controlled an extreme Dao weapon, no matter how strong Lin Xian, the archdevil ancestor, and the others were, they would still die. Damn it. Despicable. The Crimson Dragon and the others cursed, but there was nothing they could do. Just the Emperor's aura alone made them unable to move. As expected, there was a terrifying fluctuation in the outer realm. The void was torn apart, and sage blood floated down from the sky. It was obvious that some sages were injured. Ha 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 ha. Human, go to hell. The primordial sages roared arrogantly. Thousands of light rays flashed, turning into countless fire cheelants. The cheelant spear was an extreme weapon. It was an extremely powerful weapon. It was extremely terrifying. Now that it was controlled by the primordial sages, it could destroy gods and Buddhas. It was incomparable. No one could stop it. Damn it. I'm going to slaughter the 10,000 Archean races and turn them into rivers of blood. The demon ancestor's cold voice sounded in the sky. Killing intent surged in the sky as countless demonic shadows swept across. Not good. Stop him. The cheelant spear exploded with power, piercing through all the demonic shadows. The demons were also pushed back. Lin Xian fought back, but he was also pushed back. He had no choice. In the past, he could take on imperial weapons with his bare hands. But now, in the outer realm, with so many primordial sages using it, the cheelant spear's power was too strong. It was so strong that they were shocked. Fortunately, they were in the outer realm. Otherwise, in the eastern wilderness, countless territories would have sunk. Wong. In the void, an endless black hole was formed. The devouring sword devoured everything, swallowing most of the energy. The demon lord used the 6 paths of reincarnation. The terrifying power of the 6 worlds destroyed everything. Lin Xian's greater success divine body blasted out in all directions. No, this can't go on. Lin Zhan also frowned. Xia Zhiyou's eyes lit up as he shouted coldly. His aged white hair started to turn black, and his aged face also started to turn younger. Lin Xian's eyes widened in disbelief. Lower 9 nether's eyes erupted with a piercingly cold light, and a large hand reached down. Lend me the West Emperor Pagoda. The sky-covering hand passed through the Jade Pool's array formation and grabbed the West Emperor Pagoda. Then, it rose from the ground. With a loud boom, it was as if a 10,000 zhang tall mountain had been uprooted. The West Emperor Pagoda was pulled up and flew into the sky. In the next moment, it erupted with an unparalleled emperor's aura. The West Emperor Pagoda had awakened. The Queen Mother of the West and the saints of the Jade Lake sacred ground were shocked. What kind of method was this? Someone had borrowed their imperial armament in a domineering manner. They recognized that it was Xiaojuyo's voice. This elder Ming was too terrifying. He was definitely beyond their imagination. The 10,000 ancient races were also terrified. They were pressed to the ground, their bodies cracked, and their blood dyed the ground red. Above the 9 heavens, the primordial saints were also shocked. Damn it, how did he do it? Imperial armaments were the exclusive weapons of Thearchs. They could suppress an area. Only the descendants of Thearchs and sacred grounds could use them. Others couldn't get close at all. Even saints couldn't. But now, the old man in front of them had directly borrowed the West Emperor Pagoda from the Jade Pool sacred ground. What kind of method was this? Damn it, he had already brought the investiture of the gods. Now, he had borrowed the West Emperor Pagoda. How did he do it? The primordial saints roared crazily. They frantically activated the Qilin spear. However, at this moment, the humans had the West Emperor Pagoda. With lower 9 nethers activation, the Qilin spear was directly sent flying. Explode! The demon lord also roared as his body descended from the 9 heavens. He arrived in front of the celestial emperor cauldron and struck out with his palm. Demonic aura surged from his body. Buzz! The celestial emperor cauldron hummed as it continued to expand, about to crush the entire world. A terrifying extreme Tao emperor's aura erupted, blasting in all directions. Not good. He's crazy. Quickly block it. The primordial saints also rushed down from the outer realm, controlling the 10,000 dragons diagram and the phoenix bell to block it. With a boom, the extreme Tao emperor's aura collided, tearing apart the 9 heavens and countless stars in the outer realm. And this impact caused all the seals in the entire true spirit world to be broken. In the next moment, the endless void above the Gu family flickered. Then, an ancient mirror shattered the void and appeared in the world with a powerful emperor's aura. The void mirror appeared. In the Yaoguang sacred ground, a dragon roared as a black cauldron with dragon patterns appeared, also suppressing an area. In the Daoi sacred ground, a Tao diagram flickered, also incomparably mysterious. In the Grand Xia Empire, a golden sword transformed into a giant dragon and soared into the sky. This was the extreme Tao weapon of the Grand Xia Empire. The Julie painting also flew out. In the western desert, in the 1000 Buddha temple, a Kasaya bloomed in the sky, directly enveloping the entire western desert, forming the strongest defense. This was also an emperor weapon. One after another, extreme Tao weapons appeared, and a terrifying extreme Tao aura suppressed heaven and earth. The entire true spirit world was trembling, and countless cracks appeared. At this moment, all the living beings of the sacred grounds and sects prostrated on the ground. Some directly fainted from the shock. Not good. The demon emperor of the Northern Plains Demon Emperor Palace also appeared, suppressing an area to prevent it from collapsing. Yin Ruyu frowned. There was an extremely terrifying power in her body that was being suppressed by her. Otherwise, she would definitely soar into the sky and fight against these extreme Tao weapons. Damn it, it's awakened. It's all awakened. How could this be? The nest of 10,000 dragons, Divine Phoenix Ridge, Fire Qilin Cave, and the 3 royal families, as well as the endless ancient royal families, all opened their eyes and roared. They didn't expect that in the end, the human race's extreme Tao weapons would awaken. Next, the foundation of the human race, the sleeping saints, would be awakened. If they forcefully started the dark turmoil, it would be an endless period of darkness. The various races would be destroyed, blood would flow into rivers, and corpses would form mountains. It wasn't certain who would win in the end. This wasn't what they wanted to see. They wanted to use extremely tyrannical methods to destroy the human race as quickly as possible. However, this plan had failed. What should they do? The Archean patriarchs and powerful sages quickly conversed. They had to think of a countermeasure. On the human race's side, those extreme Tao weapons, the sacred grounds, and the frozen saints also opened their eyes. When they sensed all of this, they roared crazily. Figures appeared in the sky one after another. Damn it! Who dares to attack the human race? They were really crazy. In the next moment, the world was in chaos. Terrifying energy currents wreaked havoc in all directions. Those weak cultivators were like ants, mercilessly crushed. If they wanted to fight, so be it. At most, they would sink the entire world. The saints of the 10,000 ancient races were also furious. Boom! In the endless void, two extreme Tao weapons soared into the sky. Clearly, the royal families of the 10,000 ancient races had awakened again. More and more extreme Tao weapons appeared in the world. Although they didn't clash, just their auras alone were enough to shake the entire world. If this continued, the entire world would probably shatter. Chapter 2882. It's over. Is this the end of the world? Those people were terrified. The people of the 10,000 ancient races also prostrated on the ground, trembling, because they realized that even if they had terrifying extreme weapons and the ancient royal family, it was still useless, because the human race also had them. Moreover, once the extreme weapons collided, the entire world would be destroyed. Who cared if they were royalty or royal family? They couldn't exist at all. I'm afraid that only those with imperial armaments would be able to survive. Therefore, these ancient creatures were all lying on the ground, screaming crazily. Humans, do you really want to fight to the death? The ancestor of the nest of 10,000 dragons roared, his voice rumbling like thunder. How laughable. You want to start a dark rebellion and slaughter the human race, but you don't want us to resist? Lin Xian sneered. Was the other party crazy? What kind of logic was this? If you want to fight, I'll accompany you to the end. Lin Zhan's body was also full of fighting spirit, carrying an incomparable domineering aura. The demon lord was even more direct. What nonsense was there to talk about? Let's see our true moves with the imperial weapons. I don't believe that you can be stronger than me in terms of the use of imperial weapons. The celestial emperor cauldron above his head was as if the celestial emperor had been reborn. He was unbelievably powerful. Xia Juyo's expression was solemn. The stars in his eyes flickered. To be honest, we don't want to use the imperial weapons unless we have no other choice. But you ancient races are really going too far. Do you really think that the human race has no one? Using the extreme weapons is a warning to you. It's a warning to you that the human race is not someone you can bully and crush as you wish. As soon as these words were spoken, the ancient saints and ancestors opposite them gritted their teeth in anger, their bodies trembling. Before they fell into a deep slumber, the human race was just a small ant. But now, they could actually threaten them. Moreover, they couldn't fight back at all. This kind of depressing feeling was unbearable for the 10,000 ancient races who thought that they were high and mighty like gods. Damn it, let's fight it out. I don't believe that they can win against us. That's right. Our foundation and strength are far from what these humans can imagine. Fire Chelan Cave and Divine Phoenix Ridge roared crazily. They were too aggrieved. In the distance, the two imperial weapons also floated up and down. A few terrifying figures also appeared in the void. Laws danced around their bodies, making them hazy, making it impossible for others to see them clearly. What kind of race was this? However, at this moment, one of the figures in the distance spoke. No, the human race had developed to its current level. Over the past tens of thousands of years, several great emperors had emerged, leaving behind their orthodoxies and supreme weapons. You're still no weaker than us primeval theocrats. That's right. If we really fight, both sides will suffer, and we won't be able to gain any advantage. That's not what we want. What we want is just resources and territory for cultivation. We don't want other races to go extinct. Hearing this, the saint of the nest of 10,000 dragons fell silent. Indeed, although they were angry, they knew that if they really fought, the entire world would be plunged into misery and suffering. Most of the 10,000 ancient races would be destroyed, and only a few of the royal families would survive. Moreover, it was uncertain whether the imperial family would be able to survive. More importantly, their dragon crown prince had just been born. If he suffered any losses in this battle, they wouldn't be able to recover even if they died 10,000 times. Hence, the nest of 10,000 dragons had already decided not to make a move. At the very least, they couldn't start a war with supreme weapons. In addition, the divine Phoenix Ridge, Fire Spirit Cave, and the other primeval theocrats were the same. They also had princes and princesses. If they were really killed or killed, the gains would not make up for the losses. Negotiate. In the end, an ancestor of the nest of 10,000 dragons spoke in a deep voice. You humans have occupied too much land and resources. The 10,000 ancient races must take back some of them. Yes, that's right. No one will use supreme weapons, but you must give us resources and land. We must control this world together. The saint of the fire-chilling cave also said that. The saint of the divine Phoenix Ridge also snorted coldly. The eyes of the other 10,000 ancient races were red and fiery. Indeed, although they couldn't start a war, they had to take back the resources. They definitely couldn't let the humans take advantage of them. Hearing that the primeval theocrats wanted to negotiate, the jade pool cultivators below were stunned. It was as if they were dreaming. They didn't expect the primeval theocrats to retreat. Those from the Yi family, Gu family, Daoi Holy Land, and the others who had supreme weapons also heaved a sigh of relief. Great, there was no need to start a war. Otherwise, they would have suffered heavy losses. Lin Xian also heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed that the dark turmoil had been stopped. Xia Jiuyo's eyes flickered, and he revealed a smile. Only the demon lord snorted coldly, looking very unhappy. To be honest, Lin Xian and the others were really worried. They were afraid that the demon lord would directly use the celestial emperor cauldron and kill his way over. If that happened, there would be no possibility of negotiation at all. However, although the demon lord's actions were evil and unpredictable, he was incomparably arrogant. However, this time, he didn't make a move. In that case, let's go to the jade pool, Xia Jiuyo said with a smile. With a wave of his hand, the West Emperor Pagoda in his hand quickly descended and returned to the jade pool, suppressing the jade pool. It emitted tens of thousands of rays of light. The Gu family, Great Xia, and Daoi Holy Land also withdrew their supreme weapons. On the other side, the nest of 10,000 dragons and the other primeval theocrats also withdrew their supreme weapons. In the sky, the Emperor's aura slowly dissipated. The living beings below all heaved a sigh of relief. This is great. They were saved. Because just now, their fates were all in the hands of those people above. If these people had fought with their supreme weapons, none of them would have been able to survive. This made them feel like they had survived a disaster. Only the Yi family had a strange expression because their celestial emperor cauldron was still in the hands of the other party. Facing this terrifying white-haired demon lord, they didn't dare to speak at all. If the other party killed them without a word, they probably wouldn't have anywhere to cry. However, if they couldn't get the celestial emperor cauldron back, how could they be willing? One had to know that this was a supreme weapon. It was their lifeblood. They would never lose it. For a moment, the Yi family's patriarch and the others frowned. There were even many elders who secretly wanted to activate the sleeping saints to snatch it by force. However, among them, there were a few living fossil-level saints who shook their heads. They soared into the sky, and one of them even said excitedly with a trembling voice, "Are you Lord Seven?" What was going on? As soon as these words came out, the people of the Yi family were dumbfounded. The cultivators of the other holy lands were also shocked. Those archaic creatures also frowned. A powerful Yi family saint was actually so respectful to the white-haired demon lord? Could it be that this white-haired demon lord was also a member of the Yi family? Chapter 2883. But why did the other party cultivate the demonic path? They couldn't understand. They were very curious, and all of their eyes were looking forward. Lin Xian was also surprised. The white-hair fiend ancestor snorted and turned to look at the other party. "What seventh master? You've got the wrong person." With a wave of his hand, the celestial emperor cauldron flew out and entered the Yi family. Seeing this scene, the Yi family patriarch and the others heaved a sigh of relief. Great, the celestial emperor cauldron had returned. However, this made them even more puzzled. Was the person in front of them really not from the Yi family? But why did the other party know the 6 paths of reincarnation fist? Why could the other party use the celestial emperor cauldron directly? On the other hand, the saint of the Yi family was extremely excited. It's him. It must be him. He roared crazily in his heart because his guess was right. The other party must be that person. However, the other party probably wouldn't admit it. But it didn't matter, as long as he knew that the other party was still alive. Seeing the other party's impatient expression, the Yi family saint hurriedly turned around and left. He knew this person's temper. If the other party was really angry, he would probably chop him up. Patriarch, who is he? The invincible kings of the Yi family asked one after another. However, the saint shook his head. He would talk about this matter after returning to the family. Indeed, there were too many people now, and it wasn't suitable to talk about these things. The others originally wanted to hear some secrets of the Yi family, but now it seemed impossible. But soon, they put away their thoughts. Because above, Xia Jiuyo, the demon lord, Lin Zhan, Lin Xian, and other peerless experts descended from the sky and entered the Jade Pool. The Queen Mother and the Jade Pool's saints hurriedly opened the array formation and made a path. They welcomed them with the highest standards. They had no choice. These were all saints, and among the saints, they were extremely terrifying existences. They couldn't be offended. After landing, Xia Jiuyo and the others looked up at the sky. Lin Xian also sneered. He looked at the primordial saints of the nest of 10,000 dragons and sneered. Why? Don't you dare to come down? If you don't dare to come down, then go back. There's no need to negotiate. Scram back to your nest and don't come out again. Kid, you're courting death. The primordial saints were so angry that they coughed up blood. Among them, primordial ancestor Gu snorted coldly. They quickly descended, bringing with them the laws that filled the sky, and arrived at the Jade Lake. In an instant, the martial artists at the Jade Lake felt as if the sky was falling and the earth was splitting apart. Fortunately, the West Emperor Pagoda had already awakened at this time. It released endless Emperor's might, blocking the terrifying aura of these sages. Only then did they manage to protect Jade Lake. Otherwise, all the warriors in the Jade Lake would turn into blood mist and cease to exist. How terrifying! Was this the power of a supreme saint? Gu Santong, Wu Hua, and the others were shocked beyond words. Yi Wudao, the Alcade Holy Sun, Dustless, and the others all wore solemn expressions. Their eyes were burning with passion. They were too strong. Although they thought that they were the geniuses of the younger generation, they didn't have any power to resist in front of these primeval sages. A single glance from the other party could kill them instantly. He really hoped that one day, he would be able to fight with such a person. They were envious. At the same time, they looked at Lin Xian in shock. Lin Xian had fought with such an existence before? Heavens, this is too scary. The Queen Mother of the West opened the West Emperor Palace. It was an ancient palace with a peerless array formation and endless Tao inscriptions. It was used to receive the sages. Usually, it wouldn't be opened, but now that so many human sages and primeval sages had descended, she had no choice but to open the West Emperor Palace. Soon, Xia Jiuyo, the demon lord, Lin Zhan, and the others were invited in. The sages and primeval kings of the 10,000 Archean races also walked in. Lin Xian was also among them. He had fused with the greater success divine body and was extremely powerful. Naturally, he could also enter the West Emperor Pagoda. The others couldn't enter. Even the Yi family patriarch, the Queen Mother of the West, and the others couldn't do anything. They could only wait outside. The other martial artists of the human race were the same. Outside, the endless primeval army was also very nervous. No one knew what the outcome of this discussion would be. No one knew how much resources and land the human race would give up. However, if they gave up a bit, these people would bleed. Damn it, they really wanted to go in. The Crimson Dragon was also scratching his ears and cheeks anxiously outside. However, there was nothing he could do. There were endless Tao inscriptions in front of him. Those were the laws of the sage level. Those below the sage level couldn't detect them. After 2 days, everyone's expressions changed. Because they heard angry roars coming from the West Emperor Palace. There were humans and primeval races. No way. Were the negotiations going to fall apart? They were terrified. It seemed that the negotiations between the two sides were not harmonious. In fact, there was even a roar. There was no choice. There were only so many top-tier resources and spirit veins. Other than those forbidden lands that couldn't be entered, the other places were occupied by the human race. How could they give them to the primeval races? In particular, those top-tier spirit veins and resources would definitely be the focus of the two sides. It was easy to understand why such a voice was heard. However, these people were trembling. If these people fell apart and another battle broke out, wouldn't the dark turmoil start again? Everyone waited outside for 7 days and 7 nights. Suddenly, the door of the West Emperor Pagoda opened, and the primeval sages walked out like gods and demons. Their faces were gloomy, and their killing intent was monstrous. It was obvious that the discussion was very unpleasant. After coming out, they soared into the sky, tore through the void, and came outside. Then, Xia Jiuyo, the Fiend Master, Lin Zhan, Lin Xian, and the others also walked out. They also had solemn expressions. The faces of the saints of the sacred grounds were also ashen. It was obvious that the other party was asking for too much. Humans, do as we say. Otherwise, we will start a dark upheaval. In the sky, the primeval sages said coldly, I'll give you 7 days to consider. After 7 days, we'll talk again. As they spoke, they led the primeval army and camped near the Jade Pool. Damn it, they're going too far. The saints of the sacred grounds gritted their teeth and roared. Indeed, the other party was too arrogant. Their conditions were really unacceptable. At most, they would fight with them. They would let them know that the human race was not to be bullied. Many people gritted their teeth. Xia Jiuyo, Lin Zhan, the Fiend Master, and the others frowned. The other party's conditions were indeed overboard, but it was impossible for them to fight. If they fought, the mountains and rivers would shatter, and they would be the ones to suffer in the end. Was there really no other way? Lin Xian also frowned. To be honest, if he hadn't followed them in and heard these conditions, Lin Xian wouldn't have known that the primeval race was actually so ambitious. There was no other way. Xia Jiuyo sighed. Although there was no extreme war, the primeval races still looked down on the human race in their hearts. Therefore, they would naturally ask for too much. He had to think of a way to intimidate them again. Chapter 2884. That's right. Both sides were tied now. Although they didn't use any extreme weapons, their remaining strength wasn't enough to make the ancient race feel fear. They had to make the ancient race feel fear before they could negotiate normally. Otherwise, if the other party demanded an exorbitant price, they wouldn't be able to negotiate at all. If only our human race had a living arch. Let's see if the ancient race would still dare to be arrogant. A sage from the Purple Dawn's sacred land shook his head and sighed. Let me do it. At that moment, a voice sounded, attracting the attention of the sages. Lin Xian was also shocked because he realized that the voice was coming from his body. Senior, he exclaimed. That's right. The voice came from the 9-Sun Sword Saint's soul. The other sages were also shocked. They naturally knew that this body wasn't Lin Xian's. They didn't know where he got it from. Now that they heard another voice coming from the other party's body, they were extremely astonished. This soul was very weak, but the pressure from it made their eyelids twitch. Even the Fiend Lord, Lord Alcohol, Xia Jiuyo, and the others narrowed their eyes. You should be the previous 9-Sun Sword Saint, right? At that moment, Xia Jiuyo said in a deep voice. That's right, I am. The 9-Sun Sword Saint's soul emitted fluctuations, shocking the sages. You don't have to guess my origins. My soul can't hold on for long, so I want to use my last bit of strength. What do you want to do? Xia Jiuyo asked. The 9-Sun Sword Saint's soul said, I need power. Give me as much power as you want. I can temporarily recover to my peak state and then intimidate the ancient race. However, this time is very short. Before long, I will vanish into thin air. Senior, Lin Xian exclaimed again. The Nine Sun Sword Saint Soul said, Don't worry, there's no need to grieve for me. I should have died long ago. However, due to special reasons, I've lived for tens of thousands of years. Now, all of this is no longer what I'm familiar with. There's no need for me to stay. However, I'm willing to make a final contribution for the human race. Hearing this, all the sages fell silent. Yes, everyone should do their best for their race. I can help you. Xia Jiuyo also nodded solemnly. At the side, Lord Alcohol, Lin Zhan, and the demon lord's eyes flashed with a cold light. We don't have any problems on our side. We can provide you with enough power to temporarily restore you to your peak state. At this point, the saints were extremely shocked. How terrifying would a divine body at its peak state be? They did not dare to imagine. There's no time to lose. Let's begin. The Nine Sun Sword Saint Soul said. Xia Jiuyo, Lord Alcohol, and the others nodded. Little guy, I still need you to control this body. The Nine Sun Sword Saint said. No problem, Senior. I will do my best. Lin Xian clenched his fists. The Nine Sun Sword Saint nodded his head in gratification. I'm very happy to see you grow. I hope that you can bring the Nine Sun Divine Body to greater heights in the future. I have one last request. Once I'm done intimidating the ancient royal family, I hope to return to Black Demon Cliff. You buried this body in the deepest part of your body. Don't worry, Senior. I will definitely fulfill your last wish. From the looks of it, the Nine Sun Sword Saint was still worried about the demonic chi there. He wanted to use his divine body to suppress the demonic chi in Black Demon Cliff. Jade Lake's saints controlled the West Imperial Tower and sent out waves of emperors might to envelop Jade Lake. It was to prevent the 10,000 ancient races from investigating. After all, they were used to intimidate the 10,000 ancient races. If the other party discovered it and destroyed it, the gains would not make up for the losses. Waves of emperors might shot out, preventing the people outside Jade Lake from investigating. Even if they used extreme weapons, they might not be able to enter. This scene terrified the other cultivators in Jade Lake. What's going on? What happened? Why are they using extreme weapons again? Are they really going to start a dark upheaval? Their bodies trembled. The 10,000 ancient races that were stationed near Jade Lake were also stunned. Those primordial life forms prostrated on the ground, and the primordial kings were terrified. The primordial saints' expressions also changed. They all soared into the air. Damn it! Extreme Emperor's might. They activated the West Imperial Tower. Are they trying to ambush us? These people emitted a terrifying aura. As long as the situation was not right, they would activate their extreme weapons. Since the other party wanted to fight, they would accompany them to the end. However, after waiting for a long time, they frowned because they realized that the West Imperial Tower only enveloped the entire Jade Lake. It did not spread out, nor did it attack them. This made them heave a sigh of relief. It seemed that these humans were afraid that they would ambush them, so they covered the entire Jade Lake. What a bunch of cowards. The primordial saints sneered and landed one after another. They also warned their own people not to be afraid. It was just a human defense, so there was no need to pay attention to it. The 10,000 ancient races sneered. In Jade Lake, the human cultivators waited for a long time but did not see any attack. They heaved a sigh of relief. They guessed that they were using Emperor's weapons for their own safety, to prevent the 10,000 ancient races from ambushing them. Therefore, they heaved a sigh of relief. In the depths of Jade Lake, Lin Xian, Xia Jiuyo, and the others stood there. Lin Xian stood on an extremely complicated array formation. This array formation was completely formed by interweaving Dao runes. It was drawn by Xia Jiuyo, Lord Alcohol, the Fiend Master, and the others. Together with the Jade Lake's holy water and the Life Goddess's great divine ability, he began to recover his greater mastery divine body. Lord Alcohol even used the devouring sword to devour the pure energy of heaven and earth and poured it into his greater mastery divine body, allowing it to recover to its peak. Lin Xian felt that his greater mastery divine body seemed to have come alive as it frantically absorbed the energy. Could it be that his greater mastery divine body had not recovered to its peak strength? He was too surprised. One had to know that previously, he had only used the strength of his physical body to defeat a saint. However, this was only his ordinary state, not his peak state. How terrifying was a peak greater mastery divine body? He could not imagine it at all. Of course, the most difficult thing was the 9-sun sword saint's soul. This was because his soul was too weak. It was like a candle that could be extinguished at any moment. He had to ensure that the other party's soul was not extinguished before he could use the greater mastery divine body. Otherwise, Lin Xian would not be able to use the greater mastery divine body. Use the soul anchoring pearl of my Lanrua temple. A monk of Lanrua temple took out an ancient treasure. It was a yellow pearl with Buddhist runes all over it. The moment it appeared, everyone's soul trembled. A look of shock appeared on their faces. This was too unbelievable. One had to know that they were all saint-level existences. How powerful were their soul powers? However, in front of this pearl, they trembled. From this, one could imagine how extraordinary this pearl was. Could the soul anchoring pearl be that ancient treasure? The saint of the Dian sacred ground exclaimed. Chapter 2885. The other sages were also shocked. This was left behind by an ancient Buddha. It was an extremely terrifying treasure. Moreover, it was a rare soul treasure. With it, one soul could definitely be protected. With this item, 9-sun sword saint's soul should be able to protect it. At the very least, he could complete his mission of intimidating the 10,000 ancient races. The sages were extremely excited. Xia Jiuyo, Lord Alcohol, and the others nodded. They also knew about the soul anchoring pearl. Lin Xian was also extremely surprised. He carefully took the soul anchoring pearl and inserted it into his body. The soul anchoring pearl emitted a Buddhist light and enveloped 9-sun sword saint soul. With the soul anchoring pearl protecting his soul, 9-sun sword saint roared and unleashed all his potential. Buzz! Lin Xian's body trembled. Then, he let out a long roar and shattered the galaxy in the sky. Countless runes appeared on his body and transformed into divine chains of order that danced around him. The divine body of greater success bloomed with resplendent light. The entire Jade Lake trembled. The cultivators inside were terrified and looked up. Damn it, what happened? Why is the Jade Lake trembling? Could it be that the 10,000 ancient races outside are attacking? They were truly stunned. Right now, the Jade Lake was being suppressed by the West Imperial Pagoda. There shouldn't be a problem. However, the Jade Lake trembled violently. Countless cracks appeared in the sky above. A terrifying and monstrous aura pressed them to the ground, making them unable to resist. The sages of the sacred grounds were all terrified. Had the great emperor revived? They looked at Lin Xian in front of them in shock. At this moment, Lin Xian's aura was too terrifying. It far exceeded that of a sage. It was as if an ancient great emperor had been revived. The only ones who could resist him were Xia Jiuyo, the demon lord, Lord Alcohol, and the others. They also retreated with solemn expressions. They looked at the divine body of greater success in front of them with flickering eyes. As expected of the 9-sun divine body, when cultivated to greater success, it was comparable to a great emperor. That's great. Such power can definitely intimidate the 10,000 ancient races. Although the other sages were trembling, their eyes were burning because the other party was too powerful. Was this the power of a great success divine body? Lin Xian clenched his fists in shock. He saw that the sages around him were trembling because of his aura. He even felt that he could kill these sages with a single glance. Too powerful. This made him excited and incomparably envious. He swore that in the future, he would definitely cultivate the 9-young divine body to the large success stage. Buzz, buzz, buzz. In the sky, countless large cracks appeared. Strands of laws were useless, and divine flames filled the sky. They turned into phoenixes that circled around him. All kinds of strange phenomena appeared under his feet. It was as if he was kneeling. The sect masters and elders in the Jade Pool were all stunned by this scene. Could it be that the ancient emperors had really come back to life? Even the 10,000 ancient races stationed outside were terrified. Those ordinary immemorial creatures were once again pressed to the ground, and some even fainted. The primordial king trembled. The primordial saint and a few patriarchs also changed their expressions. Biting cold radiance appeared in their eyes. They turned into long rainbows, as if they were going to pierce through the front. Damn it, what's going on? What kind of aura was that? They were extremely shocked. Why would an extremely terrifying power be emitted from the jade pool? It was as if the ancient emperors had come back to life. Could it be that they had used a second extreme weapon again? The sage of the heavenly rock race said with a frown. Because inside, other than the West Emperor Tower, there was also a terrifying power that was awakening. That power was almost the same as the Emperor's might. Therefore, they suspected that the other party had activated a second extreme weapon in the jade pool. Damn it, what were these guys trying to do? They covered the jade pool and even activated a second extreme weapon. Could it be that they were really plotting something? The faces of the primordial saints were gloomy. The sage of the nest of 10,000 dragons said in a deep voice, "Let's be careful and not be tricked by the other party. Don't worry, we definitely won't let the humans launch a sneak attack." The other sages also sneered. Inside the jade pool, Lin Xian's eyes erupted with a biting cold light. He let out a long roar that shattered the 9 heavens. At this moment, he was like a war god that could split the world apart. Inside his body, the 9 sun sword saint's soul said, "Little guy, that's enough. Hurry up and move. I don't have much time." Although he had the soul anchoring pearl, there wasn't much time left for the 9 sun sword saint. After hearing this, Lin Xian nodded. In the next moment, he took a step forward. After taking a step, the golden runes under his feet flickered and turned into a golden dragon. Heaven and earth shook and the void collapsed. There was nothing that could stop it. In an instant, Lin Xian arrived outside the jade pool. A terrifying force shook the surroundings and swept out in all directions. At this moment, all the cultivators in the jade pool knelt down, trembling. Not only that, but the primordial great army outside also prostrated on the ground. Apart from the jade pool, all the living beings in the entire eastern wasteland knelt on the ground again. Their faces were filled with fear. What was going on? Could it be that an extreme weapon was used? Heavens, could it be that the jade pool collapsed? Apart from the eastern wasteland, the middle continent, and the western desert, the powerhouses of the entire true spirit world were also trembling. Their gazes turned to the distant east. Damn it, what was going on? Look, it's not an extreme weapon, it's a person. In the Jade Lake sacred ground, a few sect masters screamed. They discovered that the terrifying aura wasn't an extreme weapon, but a person. Who was that? Could it be that the primordial great emperor had revived? This shocked them greatly. The aura emitted by the other party was not inferior to an extreme weapon at all. Only a great emperor could emit such an aura. However, the light was too bright. They couldn't see it clearly at all. Golden light. That was the 9 sun divine body. It was that kid Lin Xian. Heavens, how did his power increase again? Those living fossils had faces full of shock. Could it be that it was the peak state of the greater success divine body? As soon as this was said, everyone was shocked and sucked in a breath of cold air. It seemed that the saints of the various sacred grounds had worked together to restore Lin Xian's greater success divine body to its peak. Could it be that the human race was going to attack the 10,000 ancient races again? This was truly a shocking piece of news. At this moment, all the sect masters watched in silence, their bodies trembling. On the other hand, the 10,000 ancient races were also stunned. Especially the pupils of the primordial saints shrank. Damn it, it wasn't an extreme weapon. They also saw the golden figure in the sky. Had the great emperor revived? The saints also trembled, and despair appeared in their hearts. Chapter 2886. Because the other party's aura was too terrifying, so terrifying that they couldn't resist at all. Only a great emperor could make them feel so hopeless. No, damn it, I don't believe it. They screamed crazily. How is this possible? How could there be a living great emperor of the human race? They were crazy. One had to know that the appearance of a great emperor was an existence that dominated the world. Even if the other families had extreme weapons, they wouldn't be able to contend against a true great emperor, because the difference was too great. Previously, they were full of confidence, thinking that they could destroy the human race, or at least make the human race slaves again. But now, a great emperor had appeared in the human race, which made them despair. If the great emperor of the human race made a move, none of the 10,000 ancient races would be able to contend against him. These 10,000 ancient races were really panicking. No, it wasn't a real great emperor. It was that kid. The eyes of the saint of the nest of 10,000 dragons were like divine chains that pierced through the void. He finally screamed. It was that kid from before. Are you talking about that Lin Xian? This should be the power of a great success divine body. That's not right. I've already seen the 9 Yang divine body before. Although it's very powerful, it's far from this level. The other ancestors also frowned. The face of the ancestor of the nest of 10,000 dragons was pale. It was probably the peak state of a great success divine body. What? A great success divine body in its peak state? Rumor has it that it was comparable to a great emperor. How did he recover? Damn it! How did this kid do it? The patriarchs roared like they had gone mad. Lin Xian stood in the void, his eyes opening and closing as he swept his gaze in all directions. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Those ancient kings exploded with a bang, and the ancient army below also turned into a bloody mist. No! Damn it! Block it! Block him! They roared crazily. In an instant, the image of 10,000 dragons appeared. Tens of thousands of auras descended, covering the countless ancient army. The other ancient creatures that had survived trembled in fear, pissing their pants in fear. It was too terrifying. The other party only glanced at them, and the powerhouses of the 10,000 ancient races shattered into a bloody mist. What kind of power was this? If the other party made a move, none of them would be able to withstand it. Damn kid, you dare to attack us? Kill him. I must kill him. The primeval saints roared. The 10,000 dragons diagram was activated, and it unleashed a shocking attack. 10,000 dragons roared and charged toward Lin Xian. This time, Lin Xian didn't dodge. He stretched out a hand and grabbed forward. Wherever it passed, the laws and energy of the 10,000 dragons portrait were quickly destroyed. Then, the sky-covering hand grabbed the 10,000 dragons portrait. Roar. The 10,000 dragons diagram transformed into countless dragons that roared in the sky, but they were unable to break free from this large hand. Damn it! He actually managed to grab the myriad dragons diagram. This was what it meant to receive an imperial weapon barehanded. The ancient creatures were horrified. Inside the jade pool, the human warriors were also stunned when they saw this scene. Was this the power of a great success divine body that was comparable to a great emperor? He was indeed too powerful. That was an imperial weapon. Yet, the other party was able to easily grasp it in his hand. Grabbing the 10,000 dragons picture, Lin Xian looked down again. Bang, bang, bang. The bodies of the saints split open, and their blood splattered. What? Even the saints couldn't withstand a single glance from him? What kind of existence was this? The 10,000 ancient races had really gone crazy. The bodies of the patriarchs also split open as they retreated crazily. They frantically activated the 10,000 dragons picture, and the other supreme weapons were also quickly recovering. Lin Xian waved his hand and sent the 10,000 dragons picture into the outer realm. In the next moment, his cold voice resounded through the 9 heavens. Do you really think that the human race doesn't have any powerhouses? Just as well, I'll go to the territory of the 10,000 ancient races today. At this point, he took a step forward, and countless Dao runes appeared under his feet. They directly stretched into the distance, forming a golden dragon that stretched for tens of thousands of miles. With a single step, the mountains and rivers changed, and time and space rotated. Lin Xian instantly disappeared in the sky. Not good. The primeval saints all screamed. From what they heard, the other party wanted to attack their nest. Damn it! An existence comparable to a great emperor was attacking their nest. How could they resist? Not good. Protect the dragon prince. The saints of the nest of 10,000 dragons roared crazily. They also tore through the void and flew towards the nest of 10,000 dragons. Buzz. Middle ground. Qinling Mountains. Millions of dragon veins were like giant dragons that coiled above the ground. At this moment, the void in the sky cracked open, and golden Tao runes gathered. A golden god of war walked out of the crack. It was Lin Xian. The moment he appeared, a terrifying pressure filled the entire middle ground. All the living beings of the middle ground prostrated on the ground, trembling. Was the great emperor here? The faces of these living beings were filled with terror. The saints of the Tai dynasty, Granxia dynasty, and the other sacred grounds and sects also opened their eyes. Deep shock appeared in their eyes. Damn it! Who was it? At this moment, countless people's gazes were focused on the Qinling Mountains. Inside the nest of 10,000 dragons, the primeval saints of the dragon race also opened their eyes. Although they didn't break the divine crystal, they all floated up. Not good. A strong enemy is attacking. Quickly protect the crown prince. Countless figures danced and surrounded the golden dragon. The golden dragon's expression was also solemn, and there was a trace of shock in his golden eyes. What a terrifying aura! It made him tremble. What was it? Had the great emperor really awakened? Buzz. In the next moment, a large palm grabbed over from the sky, and the void above instantly cracked open. Lin Xian directly broke open the nest of 10,000 dragons. Countless dragon chi rolled and soared into the sky. Damn it! Who was this person? The saints in the nest of 10,000 dragons screamed in horror. This method was too terrifying. Their nest of 10,000 dragons was a forbidden area, and no one could break in. However, the other party broke open the nest of 10,000 dragons with a casual palm. No! Damn it! How dare you! At this moment, the saints and primeval saints also charged over. They brought the 10,000 dragons portrait and descended. Great! We're saved. We have the 10,000 dragons portrait. We can definitely kill him. The dragons in the nest of 10,000 dragons exclaimed. The dragon crown prince also snorted coldly. No matter who you are, you will definitely die today. Men, use the 10,000 dragons portrait and kill him. Boom. The 10,000 dragons portrait revived and charged toward Lin Xian. However, Lin Xian had a peak greater mastery divine body, comparable to a great emperor. How powerful was he? The 9-yang divine sword directly blasted the 10,000 dragons portrait away. Boom. Boom. The 10,000 dragons portrait flew into the outer realm, and the people in the nest of 10,000 dragons were all dumbfounded. Who was this person? He caught an emperor weapon with his bare hands and sent the 10,000 dragons portrait flying? Was the other party really a great emperor revived? This was because only the emperors of old could achieve such a feat. He had a greater mastery divine body. He had a greater mastery divine body. Damn it, what were you trying to do? Chapter 2887. If you dare to touch our dragon prince, we swear that even if we have to leave our last drop of blood, we will destroy the human race. Many of the ancient saints roared crazily. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He swept out a few fingers, and the bodies of those saints exploded, turning into a bloody mist. This scene made everyone tremble in fear. Their faces were filled with despair. Heavens, it was too terrifying. The saints in their eyes were like ants in front of the other party. They were killed at will. Lin Xian's gaze was fixed on the little golden dragon amidst the dragon energy. In the next moment, he was extremely shocked. The dragon blood in the other party's body was too powerful. Was this the son of a great emperor? He was indeed too strong. Just this bloodline alone, even if the other party didn't cultivate, he could grow to an unimaginable level. The little golden dragon, the dragon prince, was enveloped by Lin Xian's gaze. His body instantly tensed up. He let out an unwilling roar, wanting to resist. However, although he was the dragon prince, the son of the dragon emperor, but facing a peak great success divine body, it was still not enough. Therefore, his roar was completely useless. Not only that, a crack even appeared on his body. No, damn it, stop. You can't do this. The saints of the nest of 10,000 dragons screamed crazily. The others also had looks of despair on their faces. That was their dragon prince. Sure enough, the dragon prince roared as drops of golden dragon blood rolled down his body. His face was filled with anger and unwillingness. But the other party was too powerful. He was so powerful that even if they used extreme weapons, they might not be able to defeat him. Lin Xian sneered. Why? Was this feeling very desperate? When you launched the dark chaos and targeted the human race, did you ever think that the human race was also in despair? At that time, the human race also pleaded for mercy, but what did you do? Do you want me to remind you? Lin Xian's cold voice resounded through the 9 heavens and 10 earths. At this moment, all the dragons in the nest of 10,000 dragons trembled. The saints of the nest of 10,000 dragons screamed crazily. We were wrong. We apologize. Please show mercy. They could only lower their heads in front of the other party. This scene was observed by countless experts with their souls. They were extremely shocked, and their scalps went numb. The nest of 10,000 dragons and the far ancient royal family actually admitted defeat. This was simply too shocking. Especially on the side of the human race, they were extremely excited. This was great, as expected. A peak great success divine body intimidated the nest of 10,000 dragons. The other ancient race experts also sucked in a cold breath of air. Even the nest of 10,000 dragons had submitted, so how could they resist? Why don't we quickly use the 3 monarch weapons to kill this kid? One of the Fire Qilin Cave's patriarchs quickly spoke. That was because he was extremely unwilling. However, the other members of the ancient theocrats all shook their heads. Forget it. If he managed to escape, what awaited him would be a crazy revenge. Our master, the princes and princesses would most likely be killed with a single glance. They didn't dare to take the risk. The saint of the nest of 10,000 dragons apologized and then said, "Don't worry. We definitely won't cause any more chaos. We will not ask for too much. We will live in peace with the human race." Is that so? But I don't really believe your words. Lin Xian coldly snorted. We are willing to swear that these ancient saints screamed crazily. Very well. Swear on your dragon prince's life that there will be no more chaos. Otherwise, your dragon prince will definitely be destroyed in body and soul. As soon as these words were spoken, the hearts of the dragons in the nest of 10,000 dragons thumped wildly. This was a vicious oath. Once they swore it, if they really went back on their word, their dragon prince would have to take such a vicious oath in the future. But now, if they didn't swear, the other party might directly kill their dragon prince. Therefore, they gritted their teeth and said, "All right, we swear." These ancient saints quickly swore a vicious oath. Remember, you are not allowed to attack the human race. Lin Xian turned around and left. Countless Dao runes interweaved under his feet, carrying him as if the celestial arch was traveling and walking into the distance. Whoosh! The saints of the nest of 10,000 dragons all fell to the ground, panting heavily. The dragons of the nest of 10,000 dragons also survived the calamity. The dragon prince was so angry that he went crazy. Damn it! He really deserved to die. He was the son of the dragon emperor, high and mighty. In the future, he would definitely become the new dragon emperor and rule over the 9 heavens and 10 lands. But now, he was actually being threatened by someone. Moreover, he couldn't fight back. This was unbearable. Damn it! Who is he? Who exactly is he? I must kill him. Lin Xian ignored this roar. He intimidated the nest of 10,000 dragons and then flew to his next target. His time was limited, and he didn't want to start a war directly. After all, if they fought, the human race wouldn't have any advantage. What he needed to do now was to intimidate these 10,000 ancient races so that they wouldn't dare to attack the human race casually. His second target was naturally the Divine Phoenix Ridge and the Phoenix Race. When Lin Xian arrived, countless cracks appeared on the Divine Phoenix Ridge. It couldn't withstand this terrifying energy at all. We admit defeat. We admit our mistakes. The Divine Phoenix Ridge was very straightforward and directly came out. Several saints swore on the spot, and paid a large number of ancient treasures. They had no choice. They had all seen what happened in the nest of 10,000 dragons. They didn't want to suffer the same experience again. Next, Lin Xian continued to head to the Fire Qilin Cave. The Fire Qilin Cave also lowered its head and admitted its mistake. There was no other way. Even the nest of 10,000 dragons and the divine Phoenix Ridge had admitted their mistakes. What was the use of persisting? In addition to the 3 royal families, Lin Xian looked at 2 other mysterious places. 2 extreme weapons had appeared in these 2 places. Clearly, they were also 2 royal families. However, the other party was more mysterious. But Lin Xian still looked over. The 2 mysterious royal families also swore a poison oath not to start a dark rebellion. Next, Lin Xian swept his gaze over the ancient royal families. These primordial royal clans were much worse than the Imperials. Therefore, they didn't dare to resist at all. Lin Xian's speed was extremely fast. In just 2 steps, he could go from one ancient race to another. In an instant, the 10,000 ancient races all received warnings and threats. Facing Lin Xian, they trembled and didn't dare to attack at all. Very good. Now it was time to sign the immemorial Treaty of Alliance. Lin Xian waved his hand, and countless golden laws interweaved in the sky, forming a golden scroll. On the human side, Xia Jiuyo, Lord Alcohol, Fiend Lord, and the saints of the sacred grounds and great sects all soared into the sky. The saints of the 10,000 ancient races also arrived. They discussed with each other and finally signed the immemorial Treaty of Alliance. The human race and the 10,000 ancient races coexisted peacefully in this world. To be honest, the 10,000 ancient races were very unwilling to accept such a treaty. However, Lin Xian was still watching from the side, so they could only bite the bullet and sign it. Seeing that the other party had signed the immemorial Treaty of Alliance, Lin Xian nodded in satisfaction. However, this wasn't the end. He made another condition. Chapter 2888. Next, Lin Xian proposed another condition, which was to protect the younger generation of the human race. This was both to protect the human race's prodigies and also to pave a way out for himself. After all, he had been too conspicuous in quelling the dark chaos this time. First, he had displayed the 9-yang divine body and great dragon sword soul. Finally, he had used this stance to defeat countless experts. If he left his great success divine body, he would attract endless revenge. Therefore, he had to make them sign an agreement that they could not attack him. The saints of the 10,000 ancient races naturally understood this. However, one of the saints of the Silver Lightning race hesitated for a moment and was killed by Lin Xian with a glance. Seeing this scene, the other saints quickly signed the agreement. This meant that saint-level existences would not move around casually and would not attack the younger generation. Naturally, the humans also signed the agreement. After all, the 10,000 ancient races were also worried that their princes and princesses would be attacked by human experts. Just like that, an extremely terrifying dark upheaval was quelled. Both sides retreated and left. Lin Xian directly formed the immemorial covenant into a golden mountain that pierced the clouds and stood on the ground. He was not afraid that the 10,000 ancient races would go back on their word, because this covenant was very strange. It was passed down from the immemorial era, and once violated, it would be punished by the heavens. After quelling the dark chaos, the 9-yang sword saint's soul also heaved a sigh of relief. He was now very weak. "Senior, don't worry, I will go to Black Demon Cliff now." Lin Xian tore through the void and returned to Black Demon Cliff. Black Demon Cliff was still a terrifying forbidden land. Although the body of the great success divine body had been dug out, just the demonic chi here alone was not a place that anyone could enter. However, the demonic chi had no effect on Lin Xian. His body shone brightly, and the runes under his feet danced, tearing apart the demonic chi that filled the sky. In an instant, he arrived in the depths of Black Demon Cliff. No matter how peerless and talented you are, if you don't become an immortal, you will eventually become a pile of dirt. The 9-yang sword saint's soul finally sighed and looked at Lin Xian. "Young man, advance towards the path of the great emperor." Open the immortal gate and become an immortal above the great emperor. That is the way to eternity. His soul slowly dissipated, and his voice reverberated between heaven and earth. Lin Xian's body left the great success divine body. Tears welled up in his eyes as he watched this scene. Senior, have a safe journey. Senior, don't worry. I will definitely bring glory to the 9 Yang divine body and live up to your reputation. The divine body once again turned into a golden skeleton and entered the depths of the Black Demon Cliff. Lin Xian was wrapped in a golden light and left Black Demon Cliff. Hall Master, you're here. Outside Black Demon Cliff, the Saint of Immortal Palace was waiting. When Lin Xian came out, they directly opened the Jade Door and returned to Immortal Palace. After returning to Immortal Palace, Lin Xian also let out a sigh of relief. Everything that had happened before was like a dream. He had actually quelled the dark rebellion. It was truly inconceivable. A cold light erupted from his eyes. Although he had stopped the chaos and the darkness, the 10,000 ancient races absolutely wouldn't give up so easily. Next, there would probably be another fierce battle. Of course, the main force of this battle would be the younger generation. According to the information they had received, there was a reason why the 10,000 ancient races had revived at this time. It was because they had deduced that the legendary Immortal Gate would open in this era. In other words, in this era, there would be a great emperor who could successfully open the Immortal Gate and become the legendary immortal. And to become an immortal, one must first become a great emperor. However, becoming a great emperor was simply too difficult. Countless geniuses would embark on the path of becoming a great emperor, but in the end, only one person could reach the peak. And in this era, the difficulty would increase by 100 times. This was because in the past, it was only an internal competition of the human race. But in this era, the 10,000 ancient races had revived. In addition to the geniuses of the other sacred grounds, the human race's geniuses also had to face the peerless geniuses of the 10,000 ancient races. They even had to face the princes and princesses. It was too difficult. It was simply too difficult. The path of becoming a great emperor this time would probably surpass the past. No one could have predicted it. Lin Xian also clenched his fists, his gaze resolute. He would definitely walk the path of becoming a great emperor. So what if the geniuses of the 10,000 ancient races appeared? So what if the princes and princesses appeared? He had to defeat all the strong opponents and successfully reach the peak. Taking a deep breath, Lin Xian began to cultivate in seclusion. First, he restored his body to its peak state. Then, Lin Xian began to cultivate the 9 Yang divine body. This time, after entering the greater success divine body, Lin Xian knew what the final state of the 9 Yang divine body was like. This was very clear about the path he wanted to take in the future. Therefore, this cultivation was twice the result with half the effort. Not long after, his 9 Yang divine body broke through and reached the 3rd level. Reaching the 3rd level, his strength would undergo a tremendous change. His 9 Yang divine body could be considered to have entered the lesser success realm. Not only that, this time, Lin Xian obtained the cultivation method of the last 6 levels of the 9 Yang divine body. At the same time, he also obtained the cultivation method of the 9 Yang sword technique. It could be said that he was now the true successor of the 9 Yang divine body. Of course, at the same time, he was also the successor of the Great Dragon. He was looking forward to the fusion of the Great Dragon Sword Soul and the 9 Yang sword technique. Lin Xian still remembered the power of the fusion. It was too terrifying. Next, Lin Xian began to comprehend the 9 Yang sword technique. The 9 Yang sword technique was divided into 9 levels. Lin Xian began to comprehend the first level. This meditation lasted for a year. A year later, he opened his eyes and came out of seclusion. He had already mastered the first level of the 9 Yang sword technique. He felt that he had encountered some bottlenecks and needed to come out to train. How was the situation outside? Lin Xian asked. That day, after the dark turmoil subsided, his father, Lord Alcohol, Xia Jiuyo, and the others left together. This made Lin Xian have no time to meet with them. However, before leaving, Lin Xian also said that he wanted Lin Xian to break through to become a sage as soon as possible. In the future, they would have plenty of opportunities to fight side by side. Lin Xian was filled with anticipation. The opportunity to fight side by side. Could it be that there would be even more terrifying things in the future? He didn't know. However, he knew that increasing his strength was the only way. Hallmaster, this is the main thing that happened in the past year. An elder of a mortal palace brought over some scrolls. These were all information from a year ago. Lin Xian scanned it with his soul spirit and nodded slightly. Just as he had expected, after the dark turmoil subsided, the geniuses of the 10,000 ancient races came out one after another. Because he had suppressed the 10,000 ancient races, their territory wasn't too big. Therefore, the geniuses of the 10,000 ancient races often appeared in the various cities of the human race. At first, the human race was shocked and couldn't adapt. However, after a year, they gradually accepted the existence of a few long monster heads on the side of the road from time to time. Although these 10,000 ancient races were unruly and fierce, they had signed the archaic Treaty of Alliance. Therefore, they wouldn't casually attack the human race. For a time, both sides were safe and sound. However, the clashes between the top geniuses became more and more intense. On this day, the entire true spirit world changed again. Chapter 2889. The world changed once again. Because Lin Xian had come out. Lin Xian, such a resounding name. It could be said that everyone in the quintessential world knew of him. Although they might not have seen Lin Xian before, all of them knew his name, from cultivators to sages. Because they knew that it was Lin Xian who had quelled the Darkness Rebellion. The 10,000 ancient races gritted their teeth in anger. Their sages were not allowed to attack, but those below the sages snorted coldly, especially those prodigies. They all said that Lin Xian was the protector of the human race who had quelled the Darkness Rebellion, and that he had only borrowed the power of a greater mastery divine body. That's right. How could he be compared to the sages with his own power? Not to mention the sages, he couldn't even beat them. Many powerful prodigies said that they would kill Lin Xian with their own hands, because they now knew that Lin Xian had only been able to display such power because he had obtained the corpse of a greater mastery divine body. Without the divine body of great accomplishment, there was no need for them to fear the other party's strength. Water Moon City. It was a very famous city in the middle ground. It was vast and boundless, like a small pot. At this moment, in addition to countless human cultivators, there were also many ancient creatures in the city. These 10,000 ancient races also walked or lived in Water Moon City. After more than a year, the cultivators in Water Moon City had already gotten used to it. But today, they were shocked again because the ancient creatures in Water Moon City were very excited. They welcomed a few terrifying figures. One of them was covered in platinum light. With every step he took, the entire city trembled. This was the prodigy of the Silver Race. Young Master, you're here. Countless primordial life forms of the Silver Clan surrounded that prodigy. Wong, a green-faced man with fangs, walked in. He looked like a devil that had crawled out of hell. He was the prodigy of the Green Ghost Race. There was another who was even more terrifying. He was covered in golden light and had a pair of golden wings on his back. He looked like an angel descending from the sky. This was the prodigy of the Skyrock Race. This time, they weren't ordinary geniuses. They were all core geniuses, and some were even young lords of their respective clans. After all, Lin Xian wasn't weak. He was one of the top prodigies of the human race. The 10,000 ancient races naturally had to send out their top prodigies to fight him. Other than that, there was also the young Yaksha King, a prodigy of the Yaksha race. The prodigy of the Black Tiger clan. In fact, a few young prodigies of the dragon race walked out of the nest of 10,000 dragons. The dragon blood on their bodies surged. The dragon patterns on their bodies were abnormally powerful. As soon as they appeared, those archaic creatures all bowed respectfully. It couldn't be helped. In their eyes, the Dragon Clan was the most sacred existence. Although the ones who came this time weren't the Dragon Crown Prince, they were still the top geniuses of the dragon race. At this moment, they had gathered in Shueiyue City to discuss how to kill Lin Xian. Of course, They would not launch a sneak attack. They would kill the other party openly in front of the whole world. Damn it! These primeval life forms are truly too arrogant. How long has it been? It's only been a year. Have they already forgotten the pain from before? There were also some human cultivators who snorted coldly. Among them, there were many followers of Lin Xian. That's right. How could they be a match for great god Lin Xian? Even their patriarch wasn't a match for great god Lin Xian, let alone them. Discussions could be heard one after another. After hearing this, the faces of those prodigies turned gloomy. The primeval life forms beside them sneered. Foolish humans, what do you know? That kid was arrogant before because he relied on the corpse of a greater success stage divine body. Without the corpse of a greater success stage divine body, how could he be a match for our patriarch? That's right. Our patriarch can kill him with a single glance. Not to mention our patriarch, he can't even beat our young lord. Just you wait. Today, we will let you see the strength of our young lord. These primeval life forms gritted their teeth in anger. Indeed, the dark turmoil a year ago was their greatest humiliation. Therefore, today, they would use the blood of the other party to wash away this humiliation. Among them, the young lord of the Bain clan even snorted coldly. If he dares to come, I will take his head with my hand. This person was very powerful. As he spoke, the entire void trembled. It couldn't be helped. The Bain clan one was known as the uncrowned king. His strength was truly terrifying. As expected, his voice shook the surrounding human cultivators, causing their blood to boil. They kept retreating with trembling faces. Too powerful. Although these primeval life forms were arrogant, their strength was really too strong. Most likely, not many people here would be able to contend against him. Take off my head with one hand? Is that so? You're very arrogant. At this moment, a cold voice sounded. Following that, a figure descended from the sky. Everyone looked up. Those primeval life forms rarely appeared in the void. It's you. Lin Xian. Great god Lin Xian is here. The human cultivators also screamed. As expected, the person who descended from the sky was none other than Lin Xian. He was dressed in a black robe that carried an indescribable weight. His eyes were like stars that had been extinguished. In an instant, he arrived at Watermoon City. He arrived in front of these primeval life forms. Whoosh! The Crimson Dragon also came out. He looked at the other party with a face full of excitement. Great! There was primeval blood to drink. He stared at the primeval life forms and grinned. Damn it! You're courting death. These primeval life forms were so angry that they vomited blood. The other party actually dared to have designs on them and treat them as prey. How could they tolerate this? Kid, you're too arrogant. Now that you don't have the corpse of a phenomenal success divine body as a backing, you don't have the right to be arrogant in front of us. A few primeval life forms of the Dragon Clan walked out. Their expressions were cold, and their eyes were filled with piercing, killing intent. That day, the other party used a phenomenal success divine body to suppress their nest of 10,000 dragons. This made everyone know, and it also made them lose face. Therefore, today, they had to wash away their shame. The other primeval life forms of the primeval life forms also snorted coldly and surrounded Lin Xian. Lin Xian sneered. I was wondering who it was. You want to challenge me? So it's you losers. His disdainful voice sounded. Even your saints and patriarchs are no match for me. How dare you ants be arrogant in front of me? Hurry up and get lost. I'm in a good mood today, so I won't kill you. You're courting death. The primeval life forms of the nest of 10,000 dragons were furious. The God Empress and the other primeval life forms were also furious. The other party's nonchalant attitude made their lungs about to explode. Damn it, I want to see what right you have to be arrogant today. The two Dragon Clan geniuses stood out. On the other side, the Silver Race, Blue Ghoul Race, and Yaksha Race all came out and surrounded Lin Xian. In an instant, the blood chi on these people's bodies surged into the sky. The surrounding scene changed drastically, and the void cracked open. Chapter 2890. Terrifying phantoms surrounded them. Each of them emitted a powerful aura, suppressing the humans until their faces turned pale. Even the invincible king swallowed his saliva, unable to resist at all. So powerful, too powerful. These primordial elites were too terrifying. They could already kill invincible kings. Indeed, the older generation of the human race sighed. They had to admit that their bloodlines were heaven-defying and their strength was terrifying. I'm afraid there aren't many in the younger generation of the human race who can compete with them. These human powerhouses trembled in fear, but Lin Xian was not afraid at all. He looked at the primordial elites in front of him calmly. Are you the ones who want to challenge me? All right, I'll give you a chance. But think carefully. The outcome of challenging me is death. As he finished speaking, a biting cold aura erupted from his body and shot into the clouds. Do you think you can kill us? Without a greater success divine body, you are nothing. A dragon race prodigy stood out. He had a ferocious dragon head and his body was covered in scales. Behind him, there was a huge tail that was incomparably ferocious. I'll be able to kill you in 3 moves. This dragon race prodigy was incomparably domineering. Watch carefully. My first move is to die. The dragon race prodigy roared, and the blood in his body rumbled. Dragon blood surged. Streams of dragon blood appeared and formed swords of killing intent. Together with the fists of the dragon race prodigy, the swords of killing intent continued to smash forward. So terrifying. Every killing sword could easily kill an invincible king. The dragon race prodigy was too terrifying. Heavens, he was only a peerless mighty figure, but he could release such terrifying combat strength. The human cultivators were terrified. The 10,000 Archean races sneered. As expected of the dragon race prodigy, he was indeed powerful. That kid was definitely dead. This time, there was at least 29,000 Archean power. Go to hell, brat. The dragon race prodigy revealed a sinister smile, and his cold eyes emitted a terrifying killing intent. He realized that he had overestimated his opponent. Perhaps this attack could kill him. Whoosh! Facing such a terrifying attack, Lin Xian did not move at all. He only attacked when the other party was 10 meters away from him. His speed was very fast. In an instant, he withdrew his palm and stood with his hands clasped behind his back, so much so that no one could clearly see how he had made his move. Boom! Boom! In the sky, the murderous aura formed by the dragon blood suddenly exploded, turning into a rain of blood that scattered in the sky. The body of the dragon race prodigy was split into 2 from the middle. With a thud, he fell to the ground. What? Everyone's expression stiffened in disbelief. He was dead. An incomparably terrifying genius of the dragon race, an attack that could easily pierce through an invincible king, had been neutralized just like that? Moreover, even a genius had been killed. How is this possible? Damn it! Did Lin Xian make a move just now? It was too fast. He didn't see clearly what kind of divine ability he had used. He didn't know. It seemed like a casual attack, but these people went crazy. The human experts widened their eyes in disbelief. The Archean life forms were even more stunned. This was especially the case for the archaic geniuses. They looked as though they had just seen a ghost. That was a genius of the dragon race. He was so strong that even the archaic kings of the older generation might not be a match for him. However, he had been killed in a single move. What was going on? Damn it, what kind of trick did this kid use? A sneak attack. He must have used a sneak attack. Damn it, he couldn't have used a sacred weapon, right? These people's faces were also full of shock, because they also didn't see clearly what had happened. Lin Xian stood with his hands crossed. He looked at the corpse of the dragon race prodigy below and sneered. Then, he looked up and swept his gaze forward. Who else wants to challenge me? Hurry up and come. As soon as he said that, everyone fell silent. No one from the 10,000 ancient races said anything. No one stepped forward. Many Archean life forms retreated. They couldn't help it. The other party was too strong. They originally thought that the other party was an ant without a phenomenal divine body that they could easily kill. But now, it seemed that they were wrong. Even if the other party didn't have a phenomenal divine body to rely on, his true strength was still very terrifying. Damn it, I don't believe it. He can't be so strong. He must have used some kind of forbidden technique. A prodigy from the Yaksha race snorted. I'll kill you. As soon as he came up, he unleashed his fiendish night realm and enveloped the entire space. No matter how strong the other party's attack was, he would first use his strongest defense. Then, he waved the long spear in his hand and thrust it out. Go to hell, brat. The power of the spear was very terrifying. It wasn't any weaker than the dragon race prodigy's attack. The Yaksha race was also a very terrifying race. They were extremely cruel and violent. They were also very powerful. Seeing this scene, the human cultivators held their breaths again. Meanwhile, the Archean prodigies all widened their eyes and stared at Lin Xian. They wanted to see clearly what kind of ultimate move the other party was using. In the next moment, Lin Xian attacked. When the Yaksha prodigy arrived, he threw a punch. This punch was extremely violent. It was like the fist of the god of war, engulfing the sky and sweeping up the divine fire. Boom! The punch was earth-shattering. The Yaksha realm suddenly shattered. The divine spear was blasted into pieces, and the Yaksha prodigy's body was also torn apart. Dead again. Another Archean prodigy was killed in a single move. This scene caused everyone to be dumbfounded. Even the geniuses from the supreme ancient immortal realms felt the same way. They saw clearly that the other party didn't use any forbidden weapon, nor was it a sage's weapon. Instead, he directly used his fist to attack. Damn it! When did this kid's 9 young divine body become so powerful? Damn it! Could it be that he still has the greater mastery divine body? The Archean prodigies were going crazy. They quickly retreated and put a safe distance between them. There was no other way. It was too suspicious. 1 pound. The Crimson Dragon sneered. A bunch of idiots. If it's really the greater mastery divine body, do you think you can survive? You probably can't even withstand a glance from me. As he said that, he put away the bodies of the dragon race prodigy and the Yaksha prodigy. He could make a good tonic soup later. As soon as he said that, the human cultivators' mouths twitched. The Archean prodigies were so angry that they vomited blood. What? Is he really going to eat us? Damn it, he's treating us as food. This was intolerable. This kid is too strange. Let's hurry back and find out more about him first. The Archean prodigies were unwilling to stay any longer. They decided to leave first. That was because the other party was too terrifying. They turned around, but a voice was heard. Wait, did I say you can leave? As soon as the voice was heard, the Archean prodigies froze. Then, they turned around and roared angrily. Damn kid, how dare you stop us? Eh? Chapter 2891. Do you want to die? Who do you think you are? Do you really think you can fight against all of us? At most, we'll attack together. Can you fight against us? The archaic sky prides roared crazily. The other party killed 2 of their companions on the spot. Not only that, he even wanted to stop them. The other party was too arrogant. Lin Xian sneered. You guys are so arrogant. Didn't you think that you went overboard when you wanted to kill me? What's wrong now? Can't take it anymore? I'm just using the same method to return the favor to you. Lin Xian walked forward and stared at the sky pride from the Silver Clan. You were the one who said you could take my head with one hand, right? All right, I'll stand here and wait for you. Let's see if you have the ability to do so. Damn it. The sky pride from the Silver Clan changed his expression. Lin Xian was targeting him. This was not good. Previously, he had said confidently that the other party was an ant that he could kill with one hand. However, after watching the previous 2 battles, he changed his mind. The other party was strong and definitely not weaker than him. Even if he went all out, he was not confident that he could kill the other party. Therefore, what he said about taking the other party's head with one hand didn't count at all. Seeing that the other party didn't speak, Lin Xian sneered. Why? You don't dare? I heard that the Silver Clan is called the Uncrowned King. Is that all you have? Oh, that's right. Your ancestor was killed by a human powerhouse with one punch. I guess a junior like you can't do much. Hurry up and get lost. Su Chen waved his hand impatiently. Kid, you're courting death. The Sky Pride from the Silver Clan was enraged after hearing this. "Let's fight then. I'm not afraid of you." The Sky Pride stood out. Silver light bloomed from his body, turning into a terrifying mountain that pressed down on the void. Although the other party was strong, he was very confident in himself. The Silver Clan had a strong physique and terrifying bloodline power. So what if the other party had the 9 young divine body? He didn't think that his physique would lose to the other party. "Kid, I'll let you know that the Silver Clan is not to be trifled with," the Sky Pride of the Silver Race said coldly. Lin Xian waved his hand and stretched out one of his hands while the other remained behind his back. "How about this? I'll give you a handicap of 1 hand. 1 hand. I'll take off your head." The other party had said this before, but Lin Xian was going to do it. He wanted to use his most powerful stance to suppress his opponent. The genius of the Silver Tribe was so angry that he was trembling. How dare the other party look down on him? With a furious roar, his body shone with boundless light. "Brat, today is the day you die." With a sway of his body, he tore through the void and charged over. In an instant, he rushed in front of Lin Xian. He stretched out his palm and slammed it down, causing the void to collapse. The silver light on his body soared into the clouds, forming a silver storm that danced in the sky. The experts of the human race were breathing heavily. They were pressed to the ground, unable to resist. It was too terrifying. This palm strike truly had the power to destroy the heavens and earth. Was this the Buying Clan? He was too powerful. As expected of the uncrowned king, even those ancient life forms were trembling in fear. Looking at the palm strike, their faces were full of fear. That brat was dead meat. He had definitely underestimated the Buying Clan. The title of uncrowned king was not for nothing. Gee, the archaic Sky Pride snorted coldly. The people of the human race also felt their scalps go numb. Su Chun narrowed his eyes. To be honest, the other party was very powerful. He had surpassed the Sky Prides of the human race. There were probably not many among the younger generation of the human race who could compete with him. The title of uncrowned king was indeed well-deserved. However, it was a pity that the other party had encountered him. In the next moment, he stretched out his palm and grabbed in front of him. With a grab, he directly pierced through the silver light that filled the sky. On his palm, the 9 suns' divine fire and golden runes flickered. It was as if the palm of the golden god of war was grabbing in the air. Boom, boom. The silver light was broken, and the terrifying power was shattered. The golden palm directly grabbed the head of the Buying Clan. With a crack, the other party's neck was broken. Poof! Silver blood splattered, and the head of the Buying Clan prodigy was forcefully torn off. The Buying Clan prodigy roared crazily as blood flowed continuously. His body did not have a head, but he still charged towards Lin Xian. However, he was sent flying by Lin Xian's kick, directly disappearing into the clouds. His head was lifted into the air by Lin Xian, and he let out a miserable cry. "Damn, brat, I'm going to kill you." The head of the Buying Clan prodigy opened his mouth and spat out a silver stream. It was like a silver sword that flew directly towards Lin Xian's head. He wanted to cut off Lin Xian's head too. With a clang, 2 balls of golden light burst out from Lin Xian's eyes and directly sent the silver flying sword flying. In the next moment, he exerted force in his palm, and the other party's head was covered in cracks. He was on the verge of death, as if he would split open at any time. Looking at this scene, everyone was stunned. Their faces were filled with fear. In one move, the other party had taken the head of the Buying Clan prodigy. Heavens! They originally thought that Lin Xian was just saying that to suppress the other party's arrogance. However, they did not expect that the other party was not just saying that. The other party had used actual actions to prove his words. He had taken the other party's head with 1 hand. Impossible. Damn it, this is absolutely impossible. How could this brat be so powerful? The other 10,000 Archean race prodigies were horrified, as if they had seen a ghost. The Archean creatures knelt on the ground, trembling. The experts of the human race were also stunned. Was this the top prodigy of the human race? He was too powerful, far surpassing the other Archean prodigies. The Bayin clan prodigy screamed crazily with his head in the air. Damn it, I don't believe it. He was really crazy. He was so powerful that he had reached 30,000 Archean power. Among the younger generation of the Archean era, he was an extremely terrifying existence. One had to know that an ordinary sage only had 18,000 Archean power. The top sages only had 20,000 Archean power. But he had 30,000 Archean power. He had far surpassed the human race's prodigies. Therefore, he did not take any human prodigies seriously. But now, the other party had taken his head in one move. This made him unable to believe it. Could it be that the other party's strength had exceeded 30,000 Archean power? Moreover, it should be far more than his. How could there be such a terrifying existence among the younger generation of the human race? Lin Xian sneered. Now, do you still dare to challenge me? Damn brat, I was too careless. Let go of me and let's fight to the death again. I will definitely not lose to you. The Bayin clan prodigy roared crazily. He could not accept this fact. Humph. Lin Xian sneered. Let you go? You are too naive. I've said it before. You can fight me, but the price is death. Are you ready now? If you have any last words, leave them. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.